Welcome back to Mufc Realist TV. My name is Bella. I am a presenter and hostess of this channel. Thank you for tuning in. The show is about to begin. I want you to give this video a cheeky little like, and subscribe to our channel, if you have not done so yet. As you must agree that I am better looking than Mark Goldbridge, so what are you waiting for? Just do it, smash that like button now. Let's go Reds, buckle up, get ready to rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble!
Good evening, Reds. It's Mick Ruby here. Welcome back. This is Jarvis's Corner, but I'm going to start this show, and thank you so much, Bella, for that beautiful introduction. Smash a like, people, if you haven't done so. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so as well. It is free. We're not like the greedy glazers. We don't take dividends, but we do like your likes, and we do like if you do subscribe to this unique channel that we are. Today's show, no other than Javis Cocker's show, we're going to talk about Brentford. The comeback, the 2-1. What did we learn from this one? You know, what will Ten Hag do with these players right now? Will he rest some players? Will he bench some players? Something's got to give 100%. What does it need to do to turn this season around? Of course, is top four still on? That's, according to my opinion, yes, we're about 4 to 6 points away from that. But also, we're going to talk a little bit about takeover stuff as well. But listen, guys, smash a like because I have my beautiful Jarvis in the house here. Jarvis, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, hello, everybody. Hello, Mick. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I actually been very busy today. If you know, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, wife came back, so Mick is back in the sim bin.
Well,
doghouse.
You gotta admit, it's good when your wife leaves, but it's really good when your wife comes back.
Well, I will always take the advice from Alien Tenno, one of our loyal chatters, members of the channel, send her to the North Pole. Gotta love him, leave him. 100%. Yeah, it's Monday. Yeah. It's been good. It's been very busy. Just packing up for the winter, just doing lots of gardening and, taking out everything and, it needs to be done, my friend. And it's also good that it's kind of a little bit of an international break. So we also get a break. Nothing much to talk about more than how do we move forward from here, because the turnaround, the comeback kings in the dying minute was sublime, and you were not there with us to celebrate, so we're dying to hear your opinion as well, Jarvis. But we're also going to add on. Hey, who's here? Stu Woolley.
How are we, guys?
Meister.
Hey, Meister. How are we? We all right?
Yeah, we are very good, sir. We're very good. How you been?
Good.
It's been a long minute. Yeah? That's it? You got nothing more to say? You've been absent for 2 weeks and you say good?
It's not been an easy couple of months, am I?
No.
Yeah, no, sorry. I think I might be lagging a little bit. My laptop's having a bit of a mare, but it's been quite challenging, to be honest, guys. Okay. It is what it is in life, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I know. We got to look forward. Yeah, we're gonna add on Tom, journalist, as well to the stage. Welcome, Tom. How are you doing?
Evening, lads. No,
hey, Tom.
I guess apologies for the lateness.
That's okay.
I am 4 minutes late, so I do apologise for the lateness. But as the saying is, lads, lateness is greatness. And Manchester United know that, don't we? So it's all good.
It's all good. It's not doom and gloom, Tom. Good to see you.
Yeah. Good to see you as well, Mick, Jarvis.
Yeah, how are we feeling today? Paper of the cracks, wasn't it? But still, it was a beautiful comeback. There's nothing more pleasure to see us coming back in the dying seconds of the game, and has to give it to Scott, you beautiful Scott McTomminey, right? What a technique, and Harry Maguire assist. I was shell shocked. I was doing a stream afterwards, Tom, and I was going it didn't catch me until the day after. What the hell happened in this game?
Sometimes you just got to take a day to maybe reflect on what it actually was. But
what was it?
5 minutes of madness. I mean, when you think about
minutes.
McTomminey, he actually had a hat-trick. Because we had one goal we disallowed, wasn't it? McTomminey scored that one as well.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was disallowed though by VAR, wasn't it?
Anyway, all good to you. Good to see you, lads. It's been a hot minute, by the way, and welcome to the VR room as well, Jarvis. Who do we have in the VR room? Like, dying to talk footy and understand where we're gonna go from here. Because I'm dying to hear what you guys have to say as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in the chat. I see Jamie Wayne here has a couple of comments. Oh, you just run the chat, Mick. It's okay.
Me?
Yeah,
Me? We have Bella running the chat, or Mark.
Oh, Bella.
See? Bella is running the chat. We have Hans Free. What is Jamie Wayne saying here?
Ten Hag ain't getting sacked. Club has full confidence in his changes. Only way he gets sacked now if Qatar sacks him.
Really?
Yeah, I agree in a way, Jamie Wayne. But if Qatar ain't coming in and the Glazers stay, they will sack him as fast as we don't get top 4. That's how they always done it.
100%.
That's why my belief.
Hey, welcome to the Scream, Scotty at the wheel. 100%. What were you saying? We kick on after the international with more players to come back, and we're going to talk about that. This is one of the topics we're going to talk about today as well. About the players, because we have Kobe Mainoo coming back, Scotty. Who else are we having back? Like Malacia, potentially Luke Shaw. A lot of players coming back. So, I mean, looking at the table, it ain't looking that dire, to be honest. Like, we are 5-6 points away only, to secure that. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. Qatari in 100%. I agree with you, Scotty. Next, Bestie, my friend, all the way from Brooklyn, USA. Get some of the injury in place back. That's how. 100%. That's what we're going to talk about as well. And we might as well just see who else, what they have to say here in the chat as well. So big up to all of you that's tuning in. Don't forget to smash and like and subscribe. We can see Ivo Bosic is here. We can see Nigel Flynn is here. Billy Connolly, Jamie Wayne, Mark is here as well, all the way from Denmark. Jeffy Steele, all the way from Australia. Hey, Mick, g'day from Australia. Somebody's hijacking my chat. Is it Bella? Stop it. Stop it. You're being naughty girls. I'm not going to pay you more Snickers. Jeffy Steele, I want to bring you back from the dead. Jeffy, hey, from Australia. I hope you are well. Big likes to Mick and Jarvis, Stu, and Bella, and Mark. Is Bella Mark?
I don't know.
Something's going on here. I have hands free. Who's controlling the chat?
Me too.
Look, he's got his life on his own. Hi, guys. I don't know. Big ups, Stephen Welsh. Good evening to you, Stephen Welsh. How you doing? And who else? Bella, next. Milos Mitić. Dobro večer, Mick, Jarvis, im pozdrav momci. Yes, we can all see you guys. Carlos is here as well for more. At least we have some key players back from injury after the international break. I hate the internationals, guys. I hate it. Alien Tenno. Big up, Peter. Big up, Mick Jarvis in the chat. And also Stu Woolley. And Tom. Ah, yeah, there's Mark. How you doing, Mark? Big up to you, man. Anyway, should we just kick on the show, man? Everyone that's just tuning in, we all see you. Nigel Flynn, we all see you. Ivo Bosic, we all see you. Liquor in the back, poker in the front, we all see you. We need more of Bella. Bella's coming back 100%. She lives here in this channel now. Come on. Rush Mainoo is also here with more fire in the belly. I can feel the fire. So we all feeling positive. Let's just kick on, guys. Yep. I just want to bring this to the stage because after the match, there's one person that can summarize this best. Are you guys ready for this one? I don't know if a lot of people missed this, but we have Captain Bruno with a Nigerian accent ranting.
Okay.
Oh, what happened there?
Where's it gone?
I don't know. Enjoy this one.
Hello Manchester United fans. It is me, your captain Bruno Fernandez. I know what you are thinking. It was a hard win yesterday. We came back from the dead with a 2-1 win with a late goal from Scott Mark sideways. The guy was refusing to leave the club in the summer. I advised him to take that job as Ronald McDonald at McDonald's in Salford, but I am glad he stayed. Why? Well, that Scottish bastard saved our asses, and today we avoid Ten Hag's push-ups punishment. So happy Sunday, motherfuckers. What? Today the whole team will gather at Scotty's house to have a happy meal with extra mac sauce. Let me tell you what went down yesterday. Brentford came to park the bus, we dominated them like proper dons. It was as Johnny Sins spanking of Mia Khalifa on a certain adult website. Yes, you heard me, Brentford was our beach, as what they say, come from behind, ha ha ha.
Nice.
However, Lindesoft was sleeping again and played flipper pinball again, or was it Jadon Sancho that was controlling his mode on FIFA? What? Jensen scored and then the fuckers put up a brick wall and Marcus Rashford was constantly running into it, like a crash test dummy without looking where he is going, or like a rabbit staring at your headlights as you are about to smash it. But I would call him out that he is like a blind man walking without his guide dog. Then we have this Onana goalkeeper who have Kit Kat biscuit fingers. What the hell, he leaks in goals for fun. What? Bring me back my friend David De Gea. At least he was good at crossing his legs, just like a nun, protecting her virginity, avoiding no balls, to get in. Rashi, what an idiot. I mean, pass the fucking ball. I cannot lie. I am tired like you. Listen fucking, since I came to this club, I have played every game, only missed one match, I had no rest or holiday. Now, I have worked my balls off, for you fans, so please, show me some fucking respect. Okay. I know it is hard. The world is against us, people always say United is a dying club. But we are not a dying club. We are a club that is coming back stronger than ever. We are a club that is coming back to where it belongs. We are a club that is coming back to where it is supposed to be. So Manchester United fans, keep your heads up. Keep your heads up and believe in yourselves. Believe in your club. Believe in your players. Believe in yourselves and keep on going. Your captain Bruno.
So, inspiring words from a gaffer with a Nigerian accent. Actually, it's my typing my story, but anyway, I have a little bit of a crazy humor. This is the way I saw the game, and at the end of the day, the inspiring words at the end is pretty much keep your heads up, believe in your club, believe in the manager, believe that we can turn around because this is Manchester United at the end of the day. So there's a little behind the humor. There's a little bit of a serious note that I want to sort of throw in. So big up, and this kind of leads into where we'll go from here, Jarvis. You're mute.
He's muted.
He's muted. Sign language. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm back. I'm sorry. I was on mute. Oh, nice glasses, dude. Looking
Well,
like
we've got a super chat, so as I haven't got a thing to blow, I thought I'll put the shades on every time we get a super chat.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really? We have a super chat.
We do, yeah. £5 from there he is, Jeff.
Oh, Jeff Steele coming with a hot and easy super chat. That deserves a super chat. 100%.
Super chat.
In direct from Jeff Steele, all the way from Adelaide down under. $5, 5 Aussie bucks, 100%. Has international break come at the wrong time, gentlemen? PTS versus Brentford would spur us, but international break will stop that. Your thoughts? If I correct you wrong, I think, according to my opinion, yes, it comes in a good time because we get a lot of fresh legs back in. But on the other hand, kills the momentum, right? Mm-hmm. Tom, what do you have to say about that?
Apologies, I've only just got back, so I've heard none of what you've said.
Okay, I go with Jarvis then.
Yeah, the international break. I think it came at the first a good time. We have a lot of injuries. I think it's very good for us. So now we can rest. I don't know how many of our players going on international duty, but at least some of them can have some rest and recover, and we will have injured players back. So I think we are very lucky because we have played 11 games so far. As I see it, we have played one good game. That's 9% of the games. That's When you see it the other way, it's 91% of the games are played bad. So Ten Hag needs to turn this around. So I'm very happy that we have a international break at the moment.
Yeah.
What's your
How about
thoughts,
you, Stu Woolley?
I hate international breaks. I mean, we've got a pointless friendly against Australia, I think, on Friday, and it is completely pointless for us. But I tend to agree with the consensus. It's not come at the right. Well, actually, it has come at the right time for injuries, but it's come at the wrong time for momentum. The biggest problem we've got is what do you do with this squad? You know, football was everything we love and hate about the game on Saturday, wasn't it? The last-ditch drama, but the mediocre play up until that was just what we've seen all season. And I think if I'm Ten Hag, and I know you want to touch on this, Jarvis, so I'll just be very, very brief at this point in time. But if I'm Ten Hag, I'm at home, and I'm just thinking, what do you do with this group of players? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe that have got something they really want to prove, like Harry Maguire, like Scott McTomminey, etc. And then the rest is just filled and littered with complacency, and that's what we saw with Brentford. The way that Brentford kind of played. Yes, they did park the bus. I think Mick was absolutely right in his assessment. I thought they parked the bus. But, you know, football isn't about being expansive all the time. Football isn't about dribbling. Football isn't about excitement all the time. You know what football's about? Winning.
Winning games, yeah.
That's all it's about. Scoring more goals than the opposition and how you do that. And if Brentford came, snatched a smash and grab and won 1-0, then, hey, you know, that's what was about. So, yeah, I think it has probably come at the right time for injuries, wrong time for momentum.
Yeah, no. What do you reckon, Tom? Like, you know, is this international break coming at the wrong time or a good time for Ten Hag? It's a little bit of a breathing space, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a breathing space, but love it or hate it, guys, he had to win this game. By hook or by crook, he had to win the game, whether it was scrapey 1-0, the masterclass performance, it didn't matter. He needed the result. The pressure was already mounting from the previous 2 games. People were already questioning whether he had control of the players or not. And then at the end of the day, I think, if we're being completely honest, most of that game, we didn't really do much. It was one of those dull, dark games that we've had. And it was
nervousness.
Nervousness, yeah, of course. And I think a lot of the squad really, after the backlash that they've had from the last 2 games, really, and he's stuck really with the same group of players who've let him down for the last 2 games, to then go into that game and then get, you know, the performance that he got out of them, really. It was probably a testament to why he needs to fix up and change things. And maybe the international break will give him that opportunity to maybe reassess who he thinks he can rely upon and who he thinks actually deserves an opportunity, maybe, because what we saw for, I would say, upwards of 80 minutes of that game was shocking, if we're being completely honest with you.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, the reaction, the post-match interviews after for certain players, I can't remember who it was, but, you know, the report asked the question, what was the feeling in the dressing room after? And I remember, I can't remember who he said it, but he said relief. That was the word, relief. Because they said, we know that we put in some great games and performance in there, but we kind of lost it by margin, by mistakes. And for us, this win was massive, like in confidence, it was relief. That's what that was the word that I picked up on, relief. Now, I want to touch base on another thing, like, you know, which leads into the question of, you know, Ten Hag has a little bit of a selection problem right now, because obviously, like, these players that he was counting on, like, you know, Casemiro, Rashford, Bruno, you know, okay, Bruno had a good game, decent games also, you know, but he took off, you know, he had enough. Casemiro, he took off. He's been piss poor this season. Hasn't been Casemiro of the old. Rashford, he took him off. Fair play. Should have, yeah. But the ones that come in and save the day were the bench players. That proves you that if you put them on the bench, they become hungry. And if they get the opportunity to come in, they will prove themselves. Guys, any thoughts regarding that? I mean, just Scott McTomminey coming in his 6 minutes cameo, doing, like, you know, go in there and score the goals, right? Assisted by Harry Maguire. I mean, I'm not saying that I put my hand up because I was slagging those 2 players because they didn't want to leave the club. But they're the ones that saved the day, right? But that proves you in a way that, hey, your position, you know, as just because you're part of the first team, right? You have to fight for it, because there's players coming in, they're looking starving to come in, They made a difference. They were game changers. Guys, what do you reckon? Stu is on mute.
Apologies. As a footballer, as a player, you should be white as a sheet on a Thursday morning, waiting for the team to be picked. Even if you're Bruno, even if you're Martinez, you should be white as a sheet, waiting to hear your name, waiting for your name. Because if you expect your name, then you won't give 100% on match day. And I've seen it throughout my years of playing. I've seen it all the time. And I've been very, very fortunate to be picked, more times than not. And I always said to myself, never, never, never think in your heart you're going to play. Wait till you sit. And my teammate used to say to me, fucking hell, Stu, look at you. What's up with you? I said, I'm just nervous. I'm just waiting for the team. Well, you're going to play, aren't you? I don't know. Did I do enough in training? Did I do enough last week? Has the gaffer got a new way of playing? If he has, am I in the system? If I'm not in the system, what am I going to do to push myself in the system? That's what footballers do, or what footballers should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that, Mick. And again, you make a very, very, very valid point. And so do you, Tom. He's used this nucleus of players, and they've let us down this season. I don't care what anyone says. I'm a huge admirer of Casemiro. I love the way that he plays. He plays the game simple, but he can't play alongside Mason Mount. We've seen this.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to Mason Mount coming in over this period, he was been injured. At least Casemiro had upped his game. He doesn't know what to do with Mason Mount. And then you've got Bruno being pushed out wide. You've got Amrabat playing at left back at times, rather than playing his natural position. So we've got to be very, very careful. He has as to what we do. But for me, it's all about complacency.
I feel something twitching here. We have a super chat coming in from Nigel Flynn. Big up Nigel Flynn, one of our members as well, with the €10 super chat. I get you the honors to read it, Jarvis.
Okay, he says, good news is no news. Maguire played okay the other day, but no mention in media unless he plays rubbish. Raya was shocking for Arsenal against City the first 30 minutes and no mention in the media. Agenda United.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, you got a freaking point there, to be honest, mate. When Maguire is not playing, media loves to backing up and bigging up. And when Onana makes a mistake, the whole world knows about it. But Raya was shocker. There's been a lot of players that have been shocking, but it's been quiet in the media, right? Even if we talk about the Galatasaray game regarding the ticketing and the Turkish fans, it was just silence in the media, which I do have a problem with, to be honest. But we have just to do what we have to do as a fans. Let's protect our club, protect our badge, protect our players, and just focus on our game. That's the only way forward. One thing that we learned over this past couple of months is, media is not to be trusted. You have to trust yourselves, do the intelligent way. Like, what we learned this time around with Ten Hag is, second in manager is not the solution. There's going to be ups and downs. It's a rebuild kind of thing. He didn't get backed in the summer. He got overruled. And we just need to get new ownership in and kick on from there, I guess. But do I think we can turn it around? 100%. From a psychological standpoint, guys, Tom, Stu, I mean, you guys, I don't know, Tom, if you played the game, but how much confidence you get by a victory like this, even if you didn't play well, but that comeback, from going from 1-0 down and play and 6 minutes madness and just come in, that feeling in the dressing room, Stu, as well. You play the game that you can't beat it. You can't buy. Money can buy that. That's the thing.
Mick, it's a magic question, that is. It really is a magic question, mate. Nobody asks that question anymore about the last-minute victories, and you're absolutely right. You walk in, and then euphoria, it's the most dangerous emotion, isn't it? We've spoken about it before, lads. You walk through that dressing room door, you're punching the fucking wall, you're brilliant. And then suddenly, and Mick, you know this because this has happened to you, Jarvis, has happened to you. Your mind clicks back to what the fuck went on for 80 minutes. Excuse my French. Yeah. Exactly what Tom said.
Oh, go ahead.
What the fuck has gone on for 80 minutes? Why is it taking us, from 96 minutes onwards to wake up. Why is it taking for Scotty to come off the bench and save our asses? Why the fuck haven't we saved our own skins in before? And let me point this out. You're right about Maguire. Nobody said he's had a great game, but that header, that delivery of that header, the delivery into Bruno, it was pinpoint. Maguire was in between two players. It was a wonderful header, and I think I'm going to be a bit critical here. I think the keeper should have stopped it personally, but I don't care because it went in. He pushed it onto the post. If you remember, he just couldn't get it.
Yeah, he got fingers on it. Yeah.
I
mean, our first goal though. Listen, our first goal. It's so trendy to give Onana shit, but if you look at the pretext of what happened before, I give it on Lindelof, to be honest, right? Because Lindelof, as a defender, as a goalkeeper, there's a reason why you have defenders in front of you. Lindelof played pinball football. As I said in this Bruno Nigerian rant, it was like Jadon Sancho was playing FIFA on Twitch and controlling Lindelof, right? Because 9 out of 10 as a defender, you know where to go with this ball. What did he do? He shot it straight at Jensen, and Jensen, like, free pass. Okay. Yeah, so Onana should have saved it, but you got to look at the pretext before, like with your defender, or the mistake before. Nobody talked about that.
Backspin. Did you see the backspin? Because I think it hit Lindelof, didn't it? Or hit somebody in the backspin.
Yeah, the ricochet, yeah.
Yeah, just dipped under Onana's hand. I think he should have stopped it. I really do. But if you look at behind the goal, his hand placement was almost perfect for actually exactly where the ball was travelling until it suddenly spun just under him and he couldn't get it. Look, I think Onana should have stopped it personally, but there was that issue. The backspin on it was a problem for him. And, he redeemed himself, didn't he? Yeah,
he did. He did. I mean, everyone that's played tennis, if somebody serves your backspin, the return is so hard, it's a nightmare. Backspin. Yeah. No, but listen, that feeling is just amazing. Like, not even MasterCard or Visa can buy that, victory. You know what I mean? It's not that we are sponsored for it, but it's just euphoria. And it's so perfect. And coming back to the super chat before to say, is it a good time? Yes, it is. Bloody hell it is. Because you will walk away. You had 2 weeks break with this in your mind. And exactly what you were saying there, Stu. What the hell have we been doing up to now? Right? This installs belief. This installs, unity within the squad. Yeah, you saw the celebration. Everyone was just relieved, Scotty Mac, beautiful. I want to ask a question to you guys because I've been struggling ever since I've been seeing Scott McTomminey bursting on the scene. I don't understand what his position is, what his best position is. Right? Yeah. For me, he's he's an attacking midfielder. Right? He's so good in the 6-yard box. Right? We've seen it so many times. It's not the first time. He did the same. He did a match winner with the Manchester City derby, right? When he did that lob over the goalkeeper. He was a match winner. So he comes in when he done a couple of those match-winning opportunities, but goal-scoring opportunities. But what is Scott McTominay's best position? Is he attacking midfielder? What is he? He's certainly not a CDM. Right?
I mean, in the academy, guys, I think a lot of people forget this. He was actually a centre forward. He was an attacker, so he does know the 18-yard box. But he's not. He wouldn't be an out-and-out number 9. Maybe a split striker, and sort of rotate around the box. Yeah, box to box. But you stick him in the midfield. The problem is he doesn't have that 50-yard pass, and he struggles even to find the space to then take the ball. Listen, he's a battering ram player. He'll drive the ball at a player, and he might lose it. Or
he will drive. Yeah,
bobble. He's a clumsy sort of player. That's just how McTominay is. But in the one thing that I've always said with McTominay is he's better in the opposition box than our own box. That's where you can utilise him as a strength. We know he has the height. We know he has the movement. He can get on the end of a cross. We've seen in the actual game with Brentford, he got in 3 different areas realistically in the box, and he scored all 3 goals. He took all 3 of the chances that he had. So the guy knows the 18-yard box.
The 18-yard box, he knows it.
But the problem, like we say, with McTominay is because he was played and positioned in one set position next to a partner in Fred for so many years, it's almost as if the position was chosen for him before we actually had a trial period to say, let's just use him in different variations and try and find the best position. Because people will say, why don't we try him as a centre-back? We've got an injury crisis. Give him We've seen him play for Scotland. Why don't we play him in the number 8? Why don't we play him in a split striker 10 role? Why don't you play him, I don't know, as a centre forward maybe in a game that doesn't matter? Trial and error. Like pre-season would have been a perfect factor to have used this if you wanted to actually see if you can get something different from him. But
the thing is, Tom, panel and VR room, numerous managers since he burst into steam has been waxing lyricals about him, but we haven't really seen it on the pitch. Hasn't been consistent, but what he delivers in training is what the manager sees every day, right? So everyone that's managed him say oh wow, he's such a great player, blah blah blah. He's Mancunian through and through. He came out as a child in the academy, and he bleeds for the club, he loves the club, but still we haven't seen consistency. Now, I can see that he's got a perfect role within this squad as a super sub, somebody that you throw in when it's 15 minutes late. Just put him in the 18-yard box as an attacking midfielder, because I've seen him score so many goals from that box, and we should learn to sort of cut in passes more, from the byline. Typical what Garnacho did as well, because Garnacho, everyone was talking about, McTominay's goal, but I wrote a tweet. What about Garnacho? What about that technique? What about the byline? The ball was almost out, but he controlled it. Yeah, we can talk about Maguire's header as well. Yeah, fine. But, he's such a good striker within that 18-yard box, so if he gets the ball, if you look at the first goal, what a technique. The way he received it and the way he just drilled it in, I was just whoa. I want to see more of this, if he's got a role to play, but I don't see him as a starter, guys.
No.
He's not a starter, Mick. And Tom's right, actually. Scott McTominay is good within a 6-yard area, and that's the 18-yard and the 12 yards. That's where he thrives. He's not so
That's
good
where he is.
in the 6-yard box, but he excels between the 18-yard and the 12-yard, i.e. the penalty spot on the edge of the box, right? He excels. And that's the problem. And the other problem is, again, as Tom has really eloquently put it, we don't know, and you, Mick, we don't know where his best position is. And that's because he's so excitable as an individual, so excitable as a football player. I want to play football, gaffer. I'll play anywhere.
Yeah.
Instead of turning around and saying, look, boss, I'm not a 9, I'm not a 10, okay, and I'm not a winger, and I'm not an 8, but this is where I thrive. If you want to set up home for me, this 6-yard area here is where you need to get me. Because if anyone finds me, as he proven on Saturday, I will find the net and I will score your goals.
Oh yeah.
And how you do that, I don't know. And Tom, I don't know if you coach or anything like that or play the game, but you'll know how difficult that is to work with a player in such a short segment. So to speak.
I can see the reason perfectly why a coach like David Moyes would want a player like Scott McTominay. The Souček role, he would be a more mobile Souček, and you said, between the 6 and the 12 lines in the 18-yard box, it would be perfect. And based upon that Souček is always on the end of crosses, well, McTominay has a more adaptable game, because not only can he get on the end of crosses, he'll be able to be, if you like, the physical presence in the box, but like we saw at the weekend, he can take the ball down and smash it, and he does have that edge to it. And like we've said, there's this weird thing with McTominay. There's some games where he'll just have a pattern, and he'll score 2 goals within 5 or 6 minutes. We had it in that weird game against Leeds in COVID lockdown. He had it the weekend. I think he had it a couple of times against Spurs a couple of seasons ago. So he does have this sort of. But yeah, like you said, Mick, moments. But the explosiveness, at the end of the day, McTominay, I think he's a club's player. And I think he's that sort of player that it's not necessarily about the manager, the style of play. It's, I want to play. That's it. If it was at West Ham, it probably would be the same thing. I don't mind where I play, David Moyes, because I'm a player that'll do a job for you. And that's why I say a coach like David Moyes would be enhanced by having a player like Scott McTominay, more so than maybe what we would categorise as being Manchester United quality midfielders. Because we would say there's Scott McTominay is, say, an 8, and there's a Frankie de Jong who can play that role, or whoever. There's a Jude Bellingham in world football. That's what we would categorise as a Man United midfielder. that quality and that ilk of a player. But they have McTomminey, who I could see him even playing that Brentford team if he was playing for the opposition.
Yeah,
because
no,
the
true.
18-yard box, ball knockdowns, corners, the retention of the ball, and like me and Stu just agreed upon there, the 6 and 12-yard line, that's Brentford's bread and butter, really, and that's where they get a lot of their goals.
Jarvis, I'm going to go to you before we round up this question.
Tom's question. I just want to say, McTomminey is not good enough to play in Brentford like Matthias Jensen. He's like a brilliant midfielder. He scored against us, but he's the type of midfielder I like. He's very technical. He's good on the ball. He has vision. He knows how to scout, and he has good technique, and he works hard. So for me, those kind of midfielders is what I want, and I don't think he will get into the Brentford midfield because they have Matthias Jensen and they have Nørgaard, the two Danish players.
But he will get into other teams.
And McTomminey is not good enough.
Other similar level teams is basically basing what I was meaning.
Yeah.
But
I
Brentford,
understand. But
the style of play with the knockdowns and everything, even if you used him as a squad player, I'm sure Brentford would have Thomas Frank with the way that he transitions with his squad. If he had that sort of option, it's a different option to like what you have, say, with Jensen and Nørgaard. So it gives you that more physical presence in the box where you say about technically gifted players.
Yeah.
That's the one difference that, say, a Brentford team doesn't have, say, if we say it for now, in comparison to what they have currently.
Okay. No, I agree with you, Jensen. I would just want to wrap up the McTomminey saga because I was coming back to you, Jarvis, because yesterday I was cleaning my house, and I have this robot cleaner, right? iRobot cleaner, and there's two. No, a robot. Yeah, so you have two buttons. One is cleaning, and 3 buttons: home, cleaning, and there's something called spot cleaning. Okay. Now I pressed the spot cleaning and I thought instantly of Scott McTominay because he was only going in that box, when you told him to go spot cleaning. Oh. So that's what I was thinking. Listen, Scott McTominay is a spot player. He's a spot player. His only strength is his coming in the box. That's where you utilize him. But the rest, we see how he's jogging where Upamecano was sprinting, in the Champions League game, and Scott McTominay didn't even leave the 18-yard box on their half. But the way I see Scott McTominay, if I remember, is in spots. So that's what I was saying. Maybe his role is to remain in the club, just to be a super sub, to come in where we need him in the box.
I don't agree. I just want to say
keep
something.
For sentimental.
I'm not going to sit here and agree with McTominay because he scored 2 goals, and first thing in our mind is McTominay's 2 goals. Suddenly he's brilliant, but he's been at the club for at least 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah, but the weird thing is
you have big gapping holes in his play. He doesn't scout. He doesn't look around. When he has the back against the goal, he doesn't know where to turn, if he's pressed or not. So he always hit the ball back to the players where the ball come from. He hides when he should move, so he will be open for passes. He hides all the time. He doesn't have a I would say pace, he can't switch on from slow to fast. He's very what do you call it?
No fast twitch muscles.
And he can't pass longer passes. He can only pass short passes. So for me, he's not good enough to play for United. You shouldn't.
Interestingly enough, Jarvis, you've actually backed up what we've said because we've said he can only play 6 yards, and you're absolutely right. I'm Scott McTominay. I'm looking at my hold-up play. You're absolutely right. He can't play back to goal. He really can't. He can't do the basic thing. It's sticking your arse in somebody's goal to knock him out of the way. I'm sorry to be graphic. You are right.
Listen, Stu.
Yes,
you're right. You guys are right. But just one final point on Scott McTominay and what pundits, I'm picking up all the time what the British pundits are saying. They're still calling him a young player.
I mean,
he's not young. He's 27, 28. They treat him like he's still from the academy, young, 21.
That's to say the same thing about Marcus Rashford, his young player.
Yeah, young players. Is he stopped in development? Maybe they stopped in development, but not in age, or maybe, I don't know. It's just confusing, baffles me, Tom.
Well, they're closer to 30 than they are 20. So how can you categorize them as a young player?
Yeah.
young players.
You know, they were categorizing, Lingard as a young player as well before
They
he
were
left.
Still a young
ages,
player.
weren't they? Yeah,
Maybe
they were.
because they never broke through, like, they were still there lingering on, like, as a, utility player, like, fringe player. That's what they call them, young players. I don't know, sure. The younguns. Jimmy, the United savior. Let's go into the chat, guys. Like, get in hungry young players. We'll give them all for the badge. 100%, my friend. 100%. And that is the way going forward. And that's what we're going to talk about next. What is Billy saying here? Barry Maguire, Scotty sideways, Breadstrick, Marshall, Mr. 10. If he keeps underperforming, Jaden, FIFA, Sancho. Yeah, listen, Johnny Evans, all these fringe players, when they do come in, at least they're showing something that they want to be on the pitch. That's the thing. McTomminey belongs in West Ham's bench, not ours. Yeah. I mean, we got to give the guy a roses, but at the end of the day, yeah, he just came in and helped us out. He saves Ten Hag's job, to be honest. He did, He did. Would McTomminey be in the squad for a top 4 team, guys? That's the real question.
No.
Easy answer for me. No. Okay, Jarvis, what's next on your agenda?
Yeah, I just want to take this question around the panel and see what you guys think. Here is the question. I just put it in the chat. It's what can Ten Hag learn from the beginning of the season, and what areas can he improve? I think Stu can go first.
What can he learn? Wow. It's a good question and it's a very, very difficult one to answer. Not difficult, but more complex. Because as I kind of alluded to, I don't think he knows what to do with this group of players that he's got. I'm not so sure he's actually got a handle on personality. And yet, as a player myself, I find it amazing that these guys can't get up for a game of football. I mean, I played yesterday for a over 50s team, and I was massively excited for the 1.5 hour journey out to Worcester to play the game. We got beat, I chucked my footy boots all over the place. I was shouting, screaming because we lost. And then we come home, and I'm still phoning my mates up today. What the fuck happened yesterday? We're constantly going over it, and we're, at low down semi-pro level at best, but it's all about loving the game of football. It's all about a willingness and an aptitude. Are you going to go and die for that badge? Aren't you going to go and die for that badge? And his problem is that teams of the past have always had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 real leaders on that pitch, real men on that pitch, and we don't have that. We've got sunbed posers. We've got get me hair with a stripe in it type thing. We don't need any of that. We need somebody who's willing to take the bootstraps of every other player around. Yeah. If you're having a bad game, look over to Jarvis, because Jarvis is determined to win the game, or Tom or Mick. You haven't got that around you, then your game suffers. And I think Ten Hag, he just doesn't know what to do. And there is an argument to suggest that maybe having somebody like Johnny Evans, in the squad, is maybe requires performance, maybe helping his game, because they're talking to each other, their communication's better. Maybe having somebody like Kobe Mino to come in, he's going to start ruffling the feathers of the establishment, because he wants to learn and he wants to do what Ten Hag does. Maybe that's the way forward. I don't think getting a load of signings in January is going to do the trick, because you keep patching and patching and patching again. So for me, that's not going to work. What's going to work is these lads, these players, these lads getting together, talking, communicating, understanding how, what do you need me to do? Where do you need me to be? If I'm looking over my left and you're not there, where are you? Why aren't you there? We don't argue on the pitch. Have you ever seen us argue on the pitch? We don't argue. We don't do anything, for me, that warrants elite level footballer. And that's just the way I look at it. So for me, Ten Hag, he's got to get a handle on personality, because the personality is overall in Ten Hag.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I have.
Good
can I ask? If I may put in a very simplistic analogy, a la Ruby style, it's like you are going to the front line for the war, and the general in this case is Ten Hag, and you have a drill sergeant, which is your captain of the team, right? And you simply, orders is to go fight for your country, right? Go to the front line, fight for your country, die for your country, you know what I mean? And that's what you do if you're patriot, right? You will fight for your country. Now, some are mercenaries getting bucket loads of money as soon as they come to the front line. Hey, screw this is not my country, you know what I mean? I getting paid anyway, right? You know what mercenaries, like they're not from that country, but they're getting paid, paid soldiers, right? It's similar to this, like, if they come to the front line and some of them just lay down the flags, the weapons, and capitulate, like, I don't want to fight, no, don't kill me, yeah. And this is what I see, but I want to see, like, going forward for here, if the general says that you need to have a drill sergeant, they will bloody push everyone to fight to the last man. I mean, it's a strange analogy, but that's the art of war, isn't it? Like, you fight to survive, right? And that goes in football as well, like, because everything is team sport. If you have a group of players, like, it all takes is 4 or 5 to sort of down tool, and the rest will follow you, right? To say, well, hang on a second. If I conduct myself professionally, if I'm willing to fight for this club and the country, and you're not willing to, we will falter. We will fall. We will sink.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. 100%. So, Tom, do you have any comments on what Ten Hag can learn from the beginning of the season, and how can he improve?
I think there's a couple of things, really. I think you've had, 8-9 games now. I think the players that you can trust and that you can't, really, to perform for you. And I think you can take the Palace game as a, pointing post, if you like, to say that, look, I had a lot of young players in that game, albeit it was against a 2-part Palace team. They showed a lot more desire, fight. They played as a team. They were unified at the end of the day. And that's the one thing that in the rest of the games for the whole season, I can't say anything in any of those games that there was a unity, there was a bond, there was a connection. I couldn't see it. But in that game, I could. And as soon as you took the 2 big out-fire players, which were Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandez at the time, it looked like a completely different team. There was a dimension, it was dynamic football almost. And I think at the end of the day, when you have a team that don't necessarily want to, play to the manager's strengths at this point in time, we know from last season he abandoned his principles. He didn't play out from the back because he didn't have the goalkeeper to do it. Yeah. I think from what I said anyway earlier on United Real Therapy was that I don't necessarily think he's got the players to do it. I don't necessarily think. No. I don't. And this is the thing, lads, and this is why, as an improvement, I don't know how the defence will improve upon this, because I said earlier, you can have every single one of our defenders back. I can only name 2 players that are actually competent and good on the ball. One of them's Martinez, and some people might laugh at me for saying it, Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans is actually decent on the ball. That's it. The other one, every single other player, I can't really make a case for. I don't think any of them are good on the ball. I think they all buckle when they get pressurised, and I don't think any of them have got a line-breaking, splitting pass. And so for me, when I saw that at the weekend anyway against Brentford, you had Johnny Evans who was sitting there thinking, I'm the only player that you can really pass to. I'm the only option that's waiting for the ball. Maguire, Jalou, everybody else, they were all up the field waiting for a long kick. And then Johnny Evans just said, kick it long. And you kick, and he's kicking it to where? Nobody at the end of the day.
But I agree with you saying there, and Jimmy's saying his in-game tactics needs to change as well. But at the end of the day, absolutely, it comes down to, like, who do you trust? Like, who do you trust that you have on the bench, and who is listening to your instructions? Because he's always talking about the rules and principles. If you're not adhere to it, take him off. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, though, Mick, as well, at half-time, he hacked off Casemiro, and what he said about it in the post-match was, it was basically a tactical decision. Yeah, and I wanted to have more dynamic player and a more dynamic player in the midfield, so I brought in Eriksen.
Because you need to park the bus. You need more creativity.
When he said that, though, did any of us? I don't recall Casemiro making a statement. I don't recall him going on social media blowing up saying the manager's saying that I didn't play well. But professional, that's the difference. But like we already know, with such as what happened with the Sancho situation.
Did you see him play Twitch? FIFA.
There's players that will be for the team and be unified. And you know what? They'll look at criticism and they'll say, you know what? F you, Eric Ten Hag, I'm going to prove you wrong next game. McTomminey, they might say that. Listen, Gaffer, you wanted to sell me in the summer. I'm still here. Yeah, he scored 2 goals and everything. But at the end of the day, with Eric Ten Hag, he needs to. We need to start seeing something, because he's had 2 pre-seasons. He's had £400 million. Really, if we're being fair, he knows a lot of the players, even if they're not the players that he wanted. We need to start seeing some sort of a chemistry or a style of play with the team. And if he can't play out from the back because he doesn't have the defenders, well, then he's going to have to adapt. He's going to have to do something else, or you're just going to have to play like we did last season and hope the results go the same way. Until then, you can get the defenders to play out from the back. That's the only difference.
Which leaves me to a next question. I want to take Billy's chat here as well. He says that Ten Hag needs to start making changes and stop picking favoritisms. I mean, I guess we saw that, like, there was a sign when he took off Rashford, finally took off Casemiro, because they look gashed, to be honest, right? They don't look like themselves, and make them hungry again, like, you know. So that's underperformance. But my personal belief is that we need an overhaul of the back 4, to be honest, as soon as possible, because we cannot rely on an injury-prone Varane. I mean, I love Varane, though, but we don't have proper... I mean, the only one, what you said, is ball-carrying is Licha, but he's injured, right? So we need a complement. We need like a Todibo and stuff like that, because there was reports coming in, Tom, as well, that we are going on the market in January for a centre-back. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that though, lads. To be honest with you, they barely scraped the money to get a loan for Amrabat. So
we're going to talk about the takeover later.
Takeover or no takeover, I think they'd still struggle to get the player that they want, and that's the one thing that Ten Hag said when he come through the door. It's not just about buying any player; it's buying the right player,
right profile.
And if you can get the right player that he would want in the summer, he would rather wait than just buying somebody that's available or on the market, because, as we know, you can get some brilliant players in January, like Fernandez, or you can get some absolutely garbage ones, like Alexis Sanchez, like Wout Weghorst, and they have a disaster class of a career at Manchester United.
I have a suggestion. We were doing some scouting on the Brentford side. That centre-back, what was his name?
Pinnock.
He was everywhere.
Pinnock, yeah.
He was everywhere. What a brick wall.
Well,
you should not pass.
He knows how to defend, though. You know, he. One thing about him, and one thing about the likes of Max Kilman, Lewis Dunk, some of these players that aren't fancied names, they use their positional sense more than their footballing brain.
Positional awareness.
And that's what Webster.
Yeah, and that's what a good centre half does. You know, they don't overexert themselves. They drop deep when they need to drop deep. They'll give 5 yards when they need to give 5 yards. They'll go tight when they need to go tight. You know, and this is the thing that we don't necessarily do. Varane doesn't do that anymore, but he never had to do it in the first place, because Ramos would do that for him, or Pepe would do that for him. You know, and Martinez, sometimes he'll go tight, sometimes he'll drop deep, and he's the most cultured centre half that we've got, alongside Johnny Evans. Now, when you watch Johnny Evans, he's actually the most graceful centre half that we've got. His overall positional play is great, and Maguire, on occasions, when he concentrates on what he's doing, his positional play is very good as well. But then you've got issues with Dallo, who's constantly out of position, which then exposes whichever centre half we've got playing that side. So I do think we need an overall on the back 4, Mick. But I tell you what, will Shaw will come back in and he'll slot in at centre half.
Yeah, but still, like, Shaw has been out for months, and you need to get match fitness. No, I don't count on that. The thing is, what I've been hearing from the club is that we're going in a totally different route. We're actually finally going to the grassroots scouting in Brazilian markets and stuff like that for bargains, hungry players. Because remember that Ten Hag, before he became a manager, was actually a scout. So he was even scouting Brazilian players, you know, Argentinian players when he was in Ajax, and brought him over, right? You know, and they sold them, like, you know, they brought him over for like 7-10 million and sold them for 50, 60, 70, 80. You know what I mean? Even Antonio Dos Santos, they went for 11 million, you know, and they sold them for 100, right? So this is something that excites me though, because in the Brazilian league you have some really good, like, and it's a dog-eat-dog league, like, to be honest, right? But you have some Marcus Leonardo, you have a lot of good players you can get in, like, as well, defenders as well. So it's not always the clear and obvious, like, oh, let's go and get this, what's his name, Osimhen, or, why would you pay 150 if you can get somebody like...
I have a comment on that, Mick, and one of the problems with especially players from South America and players who come from, what do you call it, poor
they come with jealous girlfriends with allegations, or what?
Well, no, the problem is we don't know how they will take the European football scene. Some of them
there was
will
a punch below the belt.
Some of them don't, and that's why there's also you have transition clubs like Brentford and Ajax and other clubs before they come to United, because you don't know. Some of them could cost you a 100 millions, and they wouldn't be good at all. So it's very hard. So I think it's a big risk buying players from the grassroots, and I don't think United are in the position they can take that chance at the moment.
No,
That's
not
why
really with the
no.
current establishment, no, but with the new establishment, yes. Because if you're going to build for the future, we're not, let's face it, guys, we are not the Manchester United that we are used to be. Like, that's gone 6 years ago, like, more than that, right? So we're trying to fumble to find our identity back again. But, that identity was Sir Alex Ferguson and Busby way, you know what I mean? But now it's a new era. Like, we need to find, a new path, a new road, like, and we have the right manager in. Just have to give him time. I do understand what he's trying to establish, but he needs at least 1 or 2 more transfer windows to have a complete squad that he fits his style, like,
Yeah.
But it depends really with the players that you bring in. Again, like even we're saying it with the South American market, it's trial and error. Not every club effectively gets players right. Some clubs miscalculate at the end of the day with the players that they bring in. But like you heard it say with Moises Caicedo, it was going to be 5 million. And even in South America, they were talking about €5 million, not even £5 million.
Yeah,
like, it's a minor risk, but in comparison to what we've paid for talent in Europe, you pay for a talent like Amad Diallo, you paid over 30 million for the guy. And if we're being honest with you, he's never really been given a chance in the first team. Palestre, you bought him from the same market that we're talking about with these players for like 10 million.
Never given a chance.
He's never given him a chance. So, yeah, it's okay trial and error in these players, but even if they don't end up working, you can always sell them. And then if they become that superstar at a Brentford or at a Brighton or an Ajax, wherever, just put the release clause in there. And you can buy them back, or put the sell-on clause and you'll make money off of what you'll just make your money back. So at the end of the day, when you have major football clubs like the City Football Group, where they have like a list of 10, 15 clubs, it doesn't surprise me that they find the best young talents out there, like Julian Alvarez's, the Phil Fodens, wherever.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have their ear in every single door and every single meeting room. So they know where the best young players are coming from.
Yeah, it's true, mate. But, at the end of the day, I'm just coming back what you said there as well, because, how can you ever find out how good they are if they don't get a run of games? Like, because we're talking about confidence, right? If you give Pelistri kind of a string of 3 games in a row, at least give him a game plan to say, I'm going to start you here and here and there, like, you will see a different Pelistri. But if you chuck him in 1 game here, he does well, and then you take him off, like, what kind of message are you sending for the player? Like, of course, you're not going to see like, consistent run of forms, but we've seen what happened to Dalot. We've seen what happened to, if you believe all of a sudden, give Wan-Bissaka, by the way, last in January was something extraordinary, because everyone was thinking he was going out the door, right? Because Dalot was performing so well. But yeah, he was given a run of games because Dalot got injured and he proved himself. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we have such a good talented players like in Pelistri. We know how good he can be, but we haven't seen enough of him, right? We haven't seen enough of Donny van de Beek either. Like, because he's been, struck by unfortunate incidents as well. Amad Diallo, we've seen glimpses of Amad, but I want to see more of these players getting, at least minimum 3 games in a row to judge. You know what I mean? Because what are you supposed to do? Like, come in 15 minutes and prove yourself? Like,
Yeah.
It is impossible. It's even impossible at amateur level to come on for 15 minutes and make a difference. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. what I'd like to see is just to go back to getting best in class, but young best in class. You know, I'd love to see us going for Max Kilman. I think he's a cracking centre half. You know, put him alongside the right partner. It'd be tremendous for us. Like you say, Pinnock, tremendous. Lewis Dunk, he's a bit older, but a good, solid pro. We don't go for solid pros, and we don't do it because it's not the Manchester United way. Well, what is the Manchester United way at the minute? We've been lost. We've been in the abyss for 10 years.
Yeah, we need to find, and that comes with new ownership.
Yeah. Well, the Man United way is either homegrown English talent or you get the best European player out there.
Yeah,
but
just pay the money.
That's faded now because United don't have the money to market for those players. And when you have what's happened with Chelsea, I mean, they broke the midfield market when they paid the money they did for Enzo Fernandez, and then all of a sudden, any midfielder that you go for is suddenly worth 100 million. And at the end of the day, you can put a price on it, but the market that you pay for players now, you're paying 70, 80 million pounds and maybe a 20% increase, but you're buying talent. You're not buying ready-made. That's the difference. And who's to say that you buy this talent from Europe and it's going to succeed in the same way Jarvis said? You can buy it from South America. It might not succeed as well. So,
just Stewie, I just remember something like, you know, the worst thing that I hated when I was on the bench, right? When the gaffer said like 10 minutes into the game, come on, Mick, go in and do a job. And I was like, fuck, now I have to take a shower after that. What's the point? You know what I mean? At least if I sat through, like I didn't have to go into the shower. You know what I mean? But like playing 5 minutes, what can I accomplish? 10 minutes. At least I have to go and take a shower after that. You know what I mean? If you know, you know, if you play the game.
It does. You spend, most of the match warming up. You know, come on, Gaffer, get me on. And then look what happens. Mick, Ruby.
Jarvis, next question.
5 minutes to go, get on. No.
Yeah. No, the next question is just a quick yes or no and like a fast explanation. So will Maguire return to the starting 11 at a regular basis after his late performances and good form?
No.
Yes, he'll play. He'll play next match.
Yeah, right.
You reckon?
Right now he will, yeah.
If Varane is injured?
If Varane's injured, he will.
He'll play. Maguire, yeah. I totally agree, yep.
Yeah, I just want to say...
He's going to Southgate. He's going to England together with Rashford. That's the Southgate that picks, like, favorites. Like, it doesn't pick them on form. They're mates.
Yeah. That's Southgate's problem. But I just want to say, I saw it, like, It came in the last 10 minutes in the Brentford game when we won 1-0. I think Maguire looked good. He had one bad mistake. That was one pass, and everybody talked about the one pass. But he had a couple of good involvements, and I see him. He looks a little bit quicker on his feet. He looks around when he plays, and he has a lot more confidence in his game. So I think he played good against Brentford. So I see him coming back into the team at the moment. Okay. You know, of course, when Martinez and Varane is injury free, they will play because they are the first choice centre back. But I think it's good for United that actually Harry Maguire has stepped up his game. And I just want to mention one thing. I saw the Beckham documentary, the 2 first episode, and one of them was on the mental abuse that David Beckham went through after the World Cup. And I can imagine some of this is the same issues that Maguire struggles with. You know, people were taking pictures of him eating dinner at the restaurant the night we lost the game with his parents, and suddenly that was wrong because he was like the new scapegoat. Everybody was going down on Maguire. You know, he gets so much hate, and I think we as fans should be aware and not be so rude, because after the Beckham documentary, I feel a little bit bad because of all my bad mouthing on Maguire. Actually, to be fair.
No, not really. You cannot compare Beckham to. This is what the pundits was trying to say in the overlap as well. Like, you know, they're trying to. But you got to also look at the comments that Harry Maguire's put out. Like, I didn't need to prove myself, and that is what I am criticizing him for. Like, you know, he's been deflecting. There's you know. Yeah, I get it. That, I mean, mental abuse and everything, and I get that everything. But you got to also look at yourself and look yourself in the mirror to say, look, you know what? Any player will back himself, right? You had the opportunity to go, but you know, you've been saying some weird shit in the media, having a brawl with police in Greece and still getting away with it. You're basically getting a clean slate, because everyone will protect you. They're your mates, Gary Neville's and all them, right? Oh, poor Harry. Even your mother's coming out to social media, right? Good reference letter about you. But Beckham never did that, Beckham took it on the chin. Beckham just conduct himself professionally. And that's what I love.
Though. The world has changed because we know with social media it plays the factor, doesn't it?
Yeah. And what I'm saying, if you're a professional footballer, you just tuck your head down and just do your fucking job. Don't go out and sort of bigging up yourself like Jadon Sancho in social media, protecting your own brand. So I want to hear from the VR room as well. Do you reckon he will be here in January, or do you reckon he will be in the window?
I need you to promise me that you'll be on your best behavior.
I promised other people that I'd be on my worst behavior. And I gave my word, so...
Don't make me fire you.
You can't fire me. You're acting manager, not office manager, so you have no firing powers.
Don't make me pre-fire you.
You wouldn't dare.
Watch this. You're pre-fired. And when I'm promoted, you'll be full fired.
If you get promoted. And if you haven't fallen in love with me by then.
What?
We've seen this before. Tom, there's some reports came out last week as well to say that he's going in January. Guys, I want to ask from the VR room, from you, is it something you will sell or keep, in January?
If I'm being honest with you, I don't see us signing a centre-back, so I don't think you can get rid of one, really. I think we need the defenders that we can have right now. Even Reguilon, I'll be honest with you, try and keep him for the full season. I would, because the more defenders we have right now, I think the better.
Yeah, we need for defenders.
That's the problem. We know Varane won't play a full season, so there's a centre-back spot already. So you already have it with Maguire, you already have it with Lindelof, you already have it with Johnny Evans. There's three that will play for that one spot. And then again, if you don't have Martinez back after those 3 months, because we don't know the recovery period from the surgery, might be 3 months.
January.
It might be January, but with how it's happened, where he's had the reaction from the previous surgery, you don't want that to recur again in, say, a busy period of the season where you get to say, I don't know, April or March sort of time, where you're going for the top 4 or whatever with teams, and then it flares up. Then you don't want that. So the problem is, if it's balancing the argument, if we bring a centre back in, there's a room to let one go, and Maguire would probably be the one that I think a lot of people would say he's an asset that you can get money for. But realistically, if we're being honest, guys, do we do major business in January apart from what we do with Fernandez?
It's not a deal you do in January. I'm with you on that one, Tom. For me,
what about the loan market? Like Ramo is saying, De Ligt is not doing. He's doing bad at Bayern, he's sitting on the bench.
The problem is that January, I always categorise it as it's not really a seller's market because
it's a buyer's market.
A, you don't have the time to negotiate for your players, and B, the players don't really have a lot of time to make their minds up if they want to go or not. And if I'm being honest, with how Maguire's going to be, I don't think a change of scenery when you're going to try and make that Euro squad at the end of the season, I don't think 3-4 months playing at West Ham or wherever, in the Premier League, even if you sent him out on loan, I don't see how it's going to make that much of an impact because in his mind, he's in that Euro squad, with it or not. Unless he gets a major injury and it scuppers the whole thing, he will play in the Euros, guaranteed. So what difference would it make if he sits at United and sees the rest of the season out? And he might play the odd game here and there. As I said, Varane might not play the full season. Martinez is going to miss until January, as Stu says there, or it might be longer, depending on the layover. So you're going to play games, Harry. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You are going to play the games.
Yeah, so he might stay.
I think
he'll stay. I think he'll stay best.
I think he'll stay. I think he stays in as well. I think he gets in.
This transitions almost to the next topic, unless you have something else, Jarvis, because I see us going into the loan market, potentially looking for our front line is looking good right now. We are shaping up, We've seen what works and doesn't work. Marcus Rashford currently doesn't work, but Garnacho there works. You know, Højlund works well. We've seen what Højlund can do for us now. Martial is getting hungry again. You know, Anthony there, like Pellistri's there, like, you know, so Marcus got to get on his bike and just look what the others are doing, and just, you know, hopefully he will come good. But right now, as I said, like, you know, he's just one dimensional, like a rabbit staring in the headlights, you know, waiting to get smashed, or like a blind man walking, you know, lost his guide dog, you know, because obviously, like in a crash test dummy, you go through the brick wall of 4 players and adamant, I'm going to pass through, like, you know, over and over again, like, you know, you can't do that, like, you know, of course you can take on your player on the byline, like Garnacho is doing brilliantly, because he's got that technical ability, low center gravity, but he's a team player. That's what it is. You know, we cannot have individuals right now. We need team players, plays for the team. And that's what Casemiro, coming back to what you said, Tom, Casemiro took it as a professional. He took it for the team. What's best for the team? Okay, boss, I step back. What's good for the team? Right? I'm not going to sulk about it. I'm not going to go on social media about it. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you really love this club, if you really love this employee that you're working for, you want it to do good. You want to win, no matter what.
That's it. You win at all costs, lads, and you're at Manchester United Football Club. I think you forget that. You have to win. I don't care if it's a football match, a trophy, a duel, a header, a cross.
But everyone contributes.
Contribute. That's it. Contribution's key. And if everybody's not pulling their weight, what happens? Well, the balance scale is going to go down. It's not going to balance out. And we know this. We know this when you had the stat that came out against Burnley. Hannibal Mejbri had been the first player, I think, in over 18 months that had run the most distance for Manchester United. That's ridiculous. 18 months, and in one game he's outdone every single midfielder, attacker, defender in that whole team. Like, I just don't understand how a young player it takes. And if we're being honest with you, if we didn't have the injury crisis that we've had, he probably wouldn't even have been getting the games that he's had. So good luck to the kid at the end of the day. And they deserve the opportunities. But again, like we've already just all agreed upon, if you don't give the players the games, whether they're young players, experienced players like Van der Beek or Pelistri or Garnacho, if you don't give them the run of games, don't give them a game at all. It's simple.
But it's simple, Tom. It's simple. It's what we said, like, you know, it's contribution. Even if you didn't play the game, all the backroom stuff, everyone plays a key part, like to lifting the trophy. Even if you didn't play the game, because every single person that's part of the squad plays the game, even if you're not playing. It's all about motivation. It's all about being team player. It's all about culture. It's like, you know, Volvo Ocean Race, you know, to Hobart. You're sailing that boat and everyone needs to contribute. Otherwise, you will sink. That's the thing, right? There's one direction. You know, it's a straight line. You know, I don't know, to Hobart, where do we start the Volvo Ocean Race? It's just one straight line, isn't it? And you have crew members and captains and skippers and deckmen and everyone. Everyone needs to contribute. Otherwise, you will sink or swim. That's the thing. So, you know, the trajectory from there is just one straight line from point A to point B, isn't it? So that comes down in a work situation as well. Like, you know, if you come to work and somebody's not contributing, and you cannot do everyone's job. Like, you know, everyone has to contribute for the success of their company, you know, to be profitable. Simple.
I have one question, but we will be running out of time. So you rather either Stu or Tom can have this one.
I'll just take it briefly, Tom, and then you can come in.
Take it for the team. Come on.
Yeah. Do you know something? I'm not so sure they'll have the huge impact we're hoping that they will have. Because Ten Hag right now, like I said, he doesn't know what to do with this group of players. He's got no real vision. And the players, for whatever reason, just aren't buying into whatever vision he has or whatever he wants to talk about. The players are too selfish. The players are so individual that playing as a team is massively difficult for these guys. And so I'm not really sure what impact having Reguilón coming back in will have for Rashford, for example, or Luke Shaw coming back. What impact that would have on Rashford, for example, or would that suddenly turn Rashford into the attacking the 18-yard box from the diagonal again, where he's at his very best? He's best attacking the diagonal, not going around the back. But then he's not crossing for Højlund, and we all know now the quality that Højlund possesses in the 6-yard box. So For me, I don't think it'll have a huge impact. I think we're on this trajectory until the players, as Mick said right at the very beginning, take a long, hard look at themselves.
Yeah.
Decide they actually want to play football again and want to start enjoying football. I don't see how Ten Hag can mould.
Well, if you don't enjoy going to your work every day, how are you going to perform? That's the thing.
Right,
You got to
exactly.
enjoy what you're doing, right? If you're not enjoying your current employee, just change employees. Simple as that, right? Because every time you change a new job, you get a new kick, you get new motivation, new stuff like that. Once you've been there for 8 years, you start to get complacent. That's normal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So football and work-life situation is very, very similar. Like, the same if you're tired of your wife, where are you, Alien Tenno? You want to send her to North Pole.
I'm glad you talked about Rashford, because this is what I was thinking about. Because the next question is actually, how can we regain our main players' form, especially Bruno, Rashford, Casemiro, and Onana? But actually, when the player we have talked the most about is Rashford. How can we bring him back into form? He's the most crucial players in a way when it comes to goals.
Well, he's going to England, right? So he's going to meet a lot of his mates.
And the thing you mentioned there with the left back, because I think we need the left back who can overlap and bring. Because the problem with Rashford now is when he gets the ball, he always have 2 or maybe sometimes 3 defenders on him. If we have a left back who can overlap, he will at least drag one of the offenders away. So Rashford will have better working conditions and will be easier for him to attack. So for me, getting a left back into this starting 11 will be crucial for Rashford's form.
Totally agree. But the other thing about that, though, Jarvis, is he's got to adjust his position as well. So if you notice the last few games, he's hung out pretty much on the byline, hasn't he? On the, pretty much on the chalk line, which is what any good winger should do. But as the ball's coming into him, he's having to wait for the ball to go to him because he's got nowhere else to go. He's not going to meet the ball anymore. He used to. He's got Luke Shaw around him. He'll meet the ball. Okay, that gives him the extra 2 yards that he'll need to start his acceleration process, and he's not doing that at the moment. And Luke Shaw used to help him with that, because Luke Shaw would walk, would run up or jog up alongside him. Never really sprints anymore, does he, Shawry lad? But he'd jog up alongside him, go behind him, and then at Rashford, as you 100%, he's got 2 options. Now, I can attack the diagonal and get, how many penalties did he get in the 1920 season? He must have earned 10 penalties. He must have, by attacking the diagonal and committing fullbacks. But with Luke Shaw going in and around him, it gave him that space, and vice versa. He could pop into Luke Shaw, and then Luke Shaw could put the cross in. So I do believe that, but he's got to start using his brain again. He's got to start trying to work that extra 2 yards. 2 yards is all it takes,
But he's got to learn. He's got to learn, to be a team player. I mean, if we're talking about Rashford himself, I love Rashford. But I always said Rashford has every second season, Rashford, because they always have like this. One season he's mint, the next season he falls off. It's a cycle with Rashford, right? Has he developed much since he burst into the scene? Little bit, Can he develop more, or has he reached the ceiling? It's all about confidence. It's all about mental agility. Otherwise, it's like the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again, right?
Do you know
like this.
Do you know what his problem is?
In the case,
he's not scored. He's not scored a goal, has he? So he's selfish. He's doing everything he can to put the ball in the back of the net, and he's trying way too hard. He's not even thinking about position, when he's in one-on-one in front of goal anymore. He's not thinking about where Højlund is. He's just single-minded trying to get that goal, and it's not working for him.
Force feeding. Football is simple, and he needs to simplify his game. He's trying too much. That's the thing. When he starts thinking that, then it's when it becomes his worst game. But when he's not thinking and just acting, expressing, then it's a lethal Rashford. But now he's overthinking things. Instinct. He's just overthinking. We saw that Champions League when he was running on. There was a counterattack. He looked up once, looked up twice, and we looked up third time and mispassed the ball to Bruno instead of shooting. So that's got to do something with his confidence. So I hope that, he goes away with Southgate, with all his English mates there, have 2 weeks of fun, play a little bit of international caps, stuff like that, come back. Oh, that was fun. I'm motivated fresh to go for United. But I would expect Ten Hag just to say, just because you're Marcus Rashford doesn't mean you guarantee a start, or just because you're Casemiro, or no. The way forward for me, guys, I don't know if you agree, but we've seen it. Play the best team in form. Doesn't matter if you're young, old, right? Who's best in form, right? Who can offer something? Yeah. Anyone? Listen, guys, we forgot. Guys, we have to reiterate. If you're new to the channel, or if you're watching still, if you're still awake, not yawning, hope we didn't fall you asleep. Hope we didn't have that Arsenal doctor gave you sleeping pills like he's been giving to our defense. But guys, seriously, on a serious note, I want you to smash that like button. Don't forget, because this like button makes YouTube algorithm promote this channel, helps us to promote this video. And definitely we do these contents because we love talking football, but we also love to talk about this community. Today we've been a little bit complacent talking to the VR room because there's so much things to talk about. The sheer excitement that we've been dire. This been a dire start, but I think now it's time to move on. And to move on is also have new ownership, Tom, isn't it? I just want to hear with you, Tom. Yeah, I haven't been able to talk to you. I saw you DM me something, but can you just briefly run down, a little bit what you've been hearing this couple of days here?
Yeah, well, it was more based really upon the Sheikh Jassim and the Qatari side, and that's really been elemented from the interview that David Beckham briefly gave when he was at the Qatar Formula One, and reiterating that Manchester United, the club, the stature of it, he knows the right people that had run United, and he was asked the question, "Is that Sheikh Jassim?" And he didn't exactly say yes. He didn't confirm nor deny. And the one thing that we know regarding the 9-2 Foundation is that contacts, from my colleagues' understanding, is that contact's been made with two mainstream ex-Manchester United players, one of whom we know is David Beckham, and was approached 2 months ago regarding becoming either a club ambassador or either a senior director, with more to the point of the latter, leaning towards what Beckham would prefer, due to he already runs and owns a team in Inter Miami, so having a seat on the board and directorship role would be a lot easier for him to run both his own club and also be a major benefactor in United. But also, he would want a decision-making role if he would to go in a partnership with the Qataris. And with Beckham, he would be set to have a role. It's understood that even if he isn't currently right now, as we understand it, he's not a part of the group to bid and buy it. So he's not within the group who's trying to buy the club. However, they want him to be one of the faces of United.
Yes.
And effectively, in the same point, the Qataris are planning also, if they win the football club in the bidding, they want to retain Sir Alex Ferguson as the leading club ambassador. And they also potentially want to bring David Gill back into the phrase and put him in more of a leadership on the directorship role and have him as a leader on the board. So effectively, the Qataris' model and plan is they want to have an experienced sort of guard and leisure in terms of a mixture, because you have the experience and the qualification of board members and directors, either an ex-player like David Beckham, an ex-executive likes of a David Gill, and a club ambassador who's been really your mainstream guy in Sir Alex Ferguson for all those years. You have the experience from every aspect: directorship in David Gill, management in terms of Sir Alex Ferguson, and playing squad in terms of David Beckham. You've got the three, you've got the lot. And then you have ambitious owners in, say, the Qataris, who have the finances behind them to be successful and put the money in with the aim that they want to take Manchester United back to the top of the tree.
Okay. That's what it's been coming from your end in that case.
Yeah. I'm trying to break it down for you from top to bottom. There is
what if I told you that this is old news? This is slow sports news. Would you believe me?
Regarding what?
Regarding this.
What, David Beckham and Sir David Gill and all them? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
You know, if you just think about it, you know, this was 92 Holding Foundation. Where did this come from? 92.
92,
Class of
yeah,
92. Yeah. Okay.
Class of 92, yeah.
All right. Can you remove this chat, please? Thank you, moderator. Just go back 5 months, 6 months in timeline, if you remember. Some people don't remember. But, you know, when Sheikh Yassim came into the fray, the registered company name 92 Holding Foundation, they were speaking to ex-legends from Class 92 to have a leading role. Even Bex was linked to that role as well, if you remember. You know, there were speculations, right? It's been always in discussions. So if you go back, I just took Strata News here for an example. There's been numerous articles written by 5-6 months ago. If you just go back in time, and that Sheikh Yassim says he wants ex-key players to be part of the takeover bid, meaning he mentioned 3 legends and a couple of more from the class of 92 and 99, like, you know, Champions League winning team. So what we're seeing here emerging right now, it's a little bit of an old reiterating news, which is like, you know, I just want to put this to the fray. Does this ring any bells? What do you see here as a puzzle?
Well, of course, you see the players that have been statutory figures for United for many years, but the difference with what is that Sheikh Jassim, maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago, he wanted to have legends involved. They've made contact, is the difference, is what I'm saying. They've made the contact with these professionals to
the
say,
formation of 92
Holding,
the formation of the name 92 comes from this formation as well. You have Beckham, that is a ambassador of Qatar already with the Qatar World Cup. Okay, you have also ambassador of Qatar is also who? Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand gets information. Rio Ferdinand got slated in his 5 for 5 because they know shit. Right, Beckham knows shit because he speaks directly to 92 Holding Foundation. And then the weirdest shit ever is the sponsorship of the third away kit from Roy Keane. Roy Keane never does that. Roy Keane hates the Glazers. He fell out with Alex Ferguson. Now the puzzle is there. You know, the articles are saying 3-4, right? Gary Neville, I don't think so. Gary Neville is way too political and way too embedded with his pundit career. But Rio Ferdinand, 100%. You know, he got slated because he got told, and he got told from 92 Holding Foundation. Beckham, he if you looked at his smirk, I know somebody that could be a good runner. They know shit. That's what I'm telling you, right? So that's why I'm saying the stars are aligning. Because if you go back to in the beginning, 5 months ago, there was articles written like this. And now one by one is coming out to show the true colors. Right? Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I can tell you certain things, but I just wanted you guys to sort of remember, open up your eyes, and don't be like Doris Goldfish because it's all printed. Right? Any further? Do you want to discuss this, or I just want to bring this to the stage because it was no coincidence when I saw Beckham, because Beckham has always been like, part of the in the beginning when it came out with Dubai or Qatar, Beckham, because there was talking about somebody's going to be the face out. Now, the question is, who do you reckon will be, what you mentioned, Tom, who wants to have more of a senior position out of those three? Certainly will be Beckham because he runs Miami. To have him on the board as a director position and influencer, that'd be great. As ambassadors, these two are excellent. Like, Keane sets good example of leadership, and Rio Ferdinand, he loves the club. He runs a YouTube channel. He's still active with the club, and he speaks good sense.
Yeah, of course. But even with Rio Ferdinand, he still has those connections with the club. He's got to for what he does with his media work with TNT Sports, as it's branded now. So he has the connections and he has the knowledge within the club, and it's not just about having the financing in place to do a project. You need the actual figures and people who've been there and done it before. And at the end of the day, it doesn't surprise me that you have Sheikh Jassim, that he wants to have, say, David Beckham involved should he be successful. It doesn't surprise me he wants Rio Ferdinand to have some sort of figure in it. It doesn't surprise me that he wants to retain Sir Alex Ferguson and have David Gill and almost bring back the old guard into the new era. It doesn't surprise me about this. But the one thing that I would probably stress and say about it is when Sheikh Jassim insisted that he would come into United, he'll clear the debt, he'll do basically everything that every United fan could dream and wish of. The one thing that we all said was, if he doesn't get the club structure in principle and in place, everything that he says, he can say, but do it. That's the one thing that I think a lot of people want. They've been fed up of the actual broken promises that this ownership has had, the Glazer family, and that the directors have always said over the years, Richard Arnold's, Ed Woodward's, we know. But the one thing that the Qataris have always insisted upon is if you get the financing behind you, but you can also get the club structure together, and they go hand in hand, you've got something. And it doesn't matter if you're on a lower level scale like a Brighton, like some with Tony Bloom and what De Zerbi and with what the directors have there, Paul Barber, there's a pyramid. As we spoke about this, me, Jarvis, Nuruddin and Saeed earlier on United Real Therapy. The pyramid's there. But at the end of the day, if you have it with Sheikh Jassim and he insists that I want to have the legends involved within this football club, why not? What's stopping him? And with Beckham, I think it's a prime example because he loves Manchester United. He is still a fan of this football club. And out of, I think, a lot of the ex-players at United, I think if we're talking about players after football, he's probably been the most successful out of the lot of them because he doesn't rely on being a mainstream media pundit or a commentator, an analyst. He's been out there and he's got his own team. And Inter Miami right now, it was worth around $50 million when they bought it. It's worth well over $1 billion now. So the partners that he had in place to do that, I mean, like you say, he has the influence on people and he's got the experience to back it up as well.
100%. No, I'm just telling you, there's certain things that, there's NDAs in place, and I'm bound to that because if I've been told things that I trust, because I know people in the 92 holdings, due to I worked in high level positions down there in Qatar, Dubai, and everything. So but there's certain things that if somebody tells you anything, you just keep it to yourself, right? Because they have NDAs. But at the end of the day, this is not NDA, and the reason why they formed the 92 Holding Foundation was because they play at the class of 92, right? Because he's going to have ex-players, ex-legends to be involved as ambassadors and stuff like that. And now it's coming out more and more evidently, right? For me, I've been always say all roads leads to Qatar. Anything else is just smokescreen at the moment. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid is it's been dead out of the water, and this is the last throw of the dice. 25%. He's not going to opt his bid. Because his bid, Tom, if you go back, even Ben Jacobs and all them once said 7.2, 7.3 billion, right? Yeah. Now the figure is not. They don't mention this figure anymore. It's all backtracking the figures, but maybe that is the sweet spot that they hit. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they went the back door and they asked the Glazers, enough of this. How much are you willing? How much? I'm buying 100%. And that is the figure that is the figure that Ratcliffe cannot compete with.
I mean,
so that's why you see.
Look at it from this perspective, mate. The Glazer family, in this, and I'll say it for this, they haven't been the people to instigate the contact with Ratcliffe. The Rain Group put the two of them together, and they've been the middleman. The Glazer family, personally, as themselves, went to Nasser Al Khalifi, the leading figure of Qatar's sort of football network and globalized sports. They went to basically the sporting figure of Qatar and said, we want you to influence and we want your advice in this. We want you to speak to Sheikh Jassim and we want the bid to improve on their offers. It's coincidence that they did that. It's been PR'd out there that Nasser Al Khalifi didn't have any influence on the bid. I think we can all say it for what it is. If it's a state-backed bid, the guy knows it and he's got involvement in it. Let's be real. When you want to go down the path that the Glazer family have done, they instigate the contact with Nasser Al Khalifi, and suddenly then straight after it wasn't even 48 hours after, Sheikh Jassim bid for a fifth time. I mean, come on, guys. We're not.
No, it was never a fifth bid.
You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes in this case to realise that. But the one thing that we know with the Qataris anyway, I'm sure you'll probably reiterate this, Mick, is they've never ruled out bidding again anyway. They've never said that we're not gonna. There's no reason for us not to just blow up and just pay the $6 billion, or we'll bid again, or we'll bid until the depths.
Listen,
they don't need to change anything. They sit comfortably because Ratcliffe, as we say, it's one last roll of the dice, and if this doesn't pay off, he's got nothing left.
If that doesn't pay off, they will just, if they feel threatened, then they will come in and blow the rest out of the water. But now they're sitting tight with, straight flush on the hands. And that's what it's always been. You haven't heard much noise because they're confident, I've been comfortably saying that they have won the bid, because I've been doing this for months and months, 10 months. If you just go back in my timeline on the Glazers Outs document, is detailed, right? But at the end of the day, I just got tired of doing this. You know what I mean? So what are we waiting for? I just want to go back in timeline a little bit, if you don't mind. I just want to, because I've done so many videos, but I want to bring this up, to show you who the owners are, the way that I know them. Are you okay with that, guys?
Mm.
Okay. A little bit flashback. There's been downplayment to say, can we remove this identity? He's not real. He's a phantom, right? And it's just a fallacy. One clown show after another. Well, we clearly saw in the beginning where 9-2 Foundation came to visit Carrington. They stayed there for about 12 hours. You saw Shahzad Shabazz, which is the gentleman here, and also the president of Sheikh Yassim's 9-2 Foundation, alongside with Qatari banker Fadi Bakos, Sam Powers, and Yasir Shah for Bank of America, right? This was clearly documented. So he's not a phantom. We will dive right into it. So on another hand, I want to sort of break something for you as well. Listen, there was the back of the question where they were asking about, is he real? They may try to make that he wasn't real. You remember this, Tom?
Oh, so Tom had to go.
He had to go.
He had to go. Okay. All right. So we're going to dive into the overall, who they are and what they got formation. And this is information that I can share with you because, there was on the 15th of June also coming out, there was a certification of a corporation of private limited company, which was 9-2 UK Holdings, right? Yet again, mysterious way. The British press downplayed it as well. But me, on the other hand, that had the finger on the pulse with Qatar. I have a trade license from the original Qatar Financial Centers where the 9-2 Holding LLC was established in 20, I think it was 28th of April this year. But that's what I'm trying to say. The name 92 Holding Foundation, it's a brainstorming idea, and basically it is to sort of, everyone knows 92, right? Class of 92, Legends of 99. And if you tie in this story that's coming out now, is pretty much slow sports news is old news, right? Clearly the ambassador's been involved. They're going to have a role. And now the stars are aligning. We see Rio Ferdinand coming out. I believe Rio is going to have a role. I believe Beck's going to have a role. I believe that Keane's going to have a role. I just want to tie the dots here with you because I've been doing all this groundwork and everything. The stars are aligning. Let's continue. 20th of April, 2023. Let's dive right into what this is. In essence of the registration of the 9-2 Holdings UK LLC that we've seen on the 15th of June, one need to turn to a significant document of the parent company, which is 9-2 Holdings LLC, that was established actually on the 20th of April 2022. We need to look at the Qatari Financial Centers original business registrations license, which is QFC number 01880. In order to understand, we need to understand the business activities the holding companies are having and including, which is comprising of 6 points that I want to cover with you to understand what company or formation 9-2 Holdings LLC is in terms of being the owner of Manchester United. Number one is owning and maintaining one or more subsidiaries. So what does that mean? So 9-2 Holdings LLC is like a group of companies. This is the parent holding company, and underneath it's kind of like umbrella. Underneath you have your children, which means that number 2, you're granting any type of security interest over its assets, tangible or intangible, including but not limited to receivables. That means shares, real or personal rights, interests of options, or privileges of any kind whatsoever in or in respect to any of such assets for its own benefit, for the benefit of any entity within the holding group company. So that means that they are providing an indemnity guarantee or similar support to any third party of its own benefit, or for the benefit of the entire entity of the holding group companies, basically. That means that we are providing a guarantee. We are being the parent company. Underneath, we have our children. We make sure that every single company within this holding group are successfully, profitable as well. So if you understand that they will never let this down fail, because that's the model, in a way, they're built as a parent company, and underneath you have different subsidiaries, and it's like you're not really taking a loan, but it's the parent company that are funding it, and they make sure that everyone is successful. And then you kind of see how Abu Dhabi is operating as well, with the city, with all these entities, but the Middle Eastern business owners and sheikhs own. They want success, and in order to do so, they have the best in class. They have the right processes in place, and just giving you sort of a little bit of an educational how it works. So this is kind of the overall business license and what is the main objective of 92 Holding Foundation, right? That means that the acquisition, holding, or disposal of any interest in any asset, like Manchester United, whether tangible or intangible, for its own benefit or for the benefit of any entity within the holding group company. Now it comes down to a very interesting point. Number 5, providing any type of loan or other form of financing to any entity within the holding group companies, and any activities which are ancillary to the above, to the activities set under the points 1 and 5. So that might sound a little bit strange to you, but it's typical normal. Like, it's not a loan because they're providing Islamic banking. That means it's not the loan. It's pretty much an investment in the, backing, providing financial backing to any of those companies, which they are providing a guarantee, immediate guarantee to be successful. They're pretty much investing and backing themselves to say, hey, we are a holding company. We are 92 Holding, and within this, we make sure that there is always cash flow to distribute to any of your children. That's pretty much it from a layman's term. And this, of course, is coming directly from Qatar Financial Center, where it was actually registered at April 20th, 2023, signed and sealed, delivered as well. So hope this gives you a little bit of an indication of what kind of company or holding group 92 Holding Foundation is. It's not state-backed. It is a holding company registered within Qatar Financial Center. Now, of course, the details of this registration, of course, if you look at it, right, it's clearly understood that, now I'm just going to go into the, the director's test and who's going to be involved. The ambassadors will discuss. Not yet 100% confirmed, but we're just tying the dots here, like, in terms of Beckham, in terms of Rio Ferdinand, in terms of, Roy Keane promoting the third kit and stuff like that. So now everything, the stars are aligning, the dots are aligning from my end as well. And I hope you can understand this is for educational purposes. So let's continue. As we saw on the documentation, the directors of that LLC is Abdullah Rahman Abdullah Al Ansari. Also, Sheikh Yassim is listed as directors of that holding company. You also see lodged is the secretary, Fadi Bakos. Interesting. Let's have a look at the overall registration. Looking back at the structure, we've seen clearly that Sheikh Yassim is part of the directors as well. So who is Sheikh Yassim? Let's debunk the myth, because people says, oh, he's a phantom, he doesn't really exist. Well, he's actually the director and chairman of Qatar Islamic Bank, the QIB, also member of the Qatari royal family. He spent much of his youth in United Kingdom, in Plymouth, to be fair, when he studied, took an undergraduate studies, I think it was business and finance, according to a LinkedIn profile. he spent much of his youth in UK. Apparently, a Manchester United supporter, and he's going to Dorset before studying at the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst. So there you go. His resume is all about banking. He's about 44 years old. He's a banker through and through. Qatar Investment Bank, many assignments, vice chairman's been involved with, Qatari, when it was the World Cup and all that stuff. So it's a little bit mystery, but he's a royal. And at the end of the day, royals don't attend bidding processes. It is basically the heavy lifters like Shabazz and everyone else that's been involved with the Rain Group and the Glazers. Now, talking about Shabazz, Shahzad Shabazz. Who is he? Who is Shahzad Shabazz? Well, we see that he's been mentioned in many articles. So, guys, Shahzad Shabazz has been the main heavy lifter in this, Night 2 Holding Foundation. He was spotted early, like at Carrington. Shabazz comes with over 25 years of investment banking experience, like from Bank of America, from Standard Chartered and all that stuff. So this guy is heavyweight, right? He's one of the well-known, so basically best-in-class people, guys. And also Fadi Bakos as well. We're talking about the most experienced guys. So when Qatar goes in, they're going heavy, not to lose, just to sort of bring that to the table. Spotted at Carrington when they had that presentation on the second bidding round. Shahzad Shabazz, according to my knowledge and understanding, is one of the well-known astute bankers in the world. Crucial. He's been holding several CEO positions. He spent 13 years with Bank of America. Prior to that, with a lot of Middle Eastern companies like Chief Executive Officer with Q Invest LLC, CEO for MB Invest as well, CEO for Emirates MBD Bank. But you know what? This is a heavyweight, and he's more of a advisor, acting as the CEO within this bidding takeover process. But it's also assumed that he most likely will be the CEO and the chairman of Manchester United in the takeover. When I say with chairman, that means that typical what you have with the Manchester City, you have a CEO and you have a chairman above, and the chairman above is more the spokesperson, communicating to the fans, and stuff like that. And that's a total different structure. But who is the main bank of Manchester United? Is Bank of America. And who holds the most bonds and debts of Manchester United PLC? Bank of America. Who is having 20 years of experience working as CEO of Bank of America? Shahzad. So I hope this makes sense. That is just speculation. Fadi Bakos was also somebody we saw on the incorporation certification license. And you know what? Fadi Bakos is a Lebanese gentleman that spent most of his time within a legal sector. He studied at London Business School in UK as well. Senior legal counsel. So that's more of a legal advisory throughout the bidding process. Fadi is, what I understood, a very, very good negotiator and has an eye for details. So because there's been a lot of due diligence, cross checks and lists, and Fadi's been leading up that process. He's been also incorporated as a secretary. So one can assume that Fadi will hold a role within the new establishment. So Fadi Bakos is also one of the directors that's going to be empowered in that, because he's listed as secretary, so I just wanted to sort of bring that to the attention, and Manchester United. Last but not least, you have Abdullah Al-Ansari, which is well-sourced connection from mine from LinkedIn as well. He's sitting there as, been registered in both the Qatar LLC incorporation and the UK incorporation of 9-2 Holding. Right. So Abdullah, as far as I know, he's a very astute gentleman, studied over in UK. He's a legal counsel as well. Good history in the fields of information technology, sports, shipping, logistics, services. But his main, his main experience is being the legal advisor in terms of, being investor relationships, board director, secretary, and being a legal counsel in general. So Abdul Rahman, to me, will play a important part. He's very good friends with Sheikh Yassim since childhood. He's somewhat you can call Sheikh Yassim's left hand. But what do I know? It is, and that's where the buck stops for me in terms of NDAs.
Yes.
That's all I can share. But for me, I hope this makes sense to you, because from an educational standpoint, I said there's NDAs and there's certain things that you can explain how things are working, who they are, just to give you a little bit of a concept of how things going to look. And if you've seen that business registration license, it's not so easy to obtain either. But when you get shared certain information that you can share with the Manchester United fans, yes, sure, fine. Do I know when the announcement will be? No, I don't. I'm not part of that delegation. The sole purpose for this channel is always been one thing only, and that's been Glazes out, green and gold until we're sold. And we're not here to tell you who's right, who's wrong. We're not here to tell you what's the right bid, who's the wrong bid. It's always been Glazes out from day one. Even when me and Jarvis was the only channel sitting here covering the protest, we did a marathon. Nobody did it. Just me and Jarvis, and we had a lot of people calling in because we really care. Right? So I hope this makes sense, and when I saying that you shouldn't downplay Neil Custis, that said that, that you will hear something coming in soon.
Yeah, did he say October? He said October, didn't he?
Yeah, but Neil Custis has been around for quite a while. He's well connected within the seniors, David Gills and all them, you know what I mean? So, and what's been baffling me to watch this from the sidelines is to see the so-called sports journalists, slugging it out with the, Reuters and Bloomberg's that has no dog in the fight. Because I understand it's a big story. It's like, they want to keep this going because they made millions out of these clicks, right? On the other hand, like, we've been sitting here for months and months and months and doing educational podcasts, had numerous people on board. Like, we had a Swedish Rumble here. We had Paul White, numerous. Who else did we have? Many, many people, like, I had Phil Brown as well, everyone. And working with 9558 and United Against the Glazes. And the third red lines is like, I'm a Red Patriot. I love this club. This is my family, right? And I woke up one year ago and said, enough is enough. I started this channel to sort of have a platform, have a voice, to provide a voice of reason to everyone can be. Like, I'm not tied by editorials like you are. Like, I'm independent. So therefore I can roam free. I'm not all about Twitter to say, like, this will happen, this will happen. It's not about sensational. It's about doing the right thing, and I believe that, today's journalists are not doing the right thing. They're not giving you the right facts, right? They're just spinning. But if you just go on the sensation Beckham, I just want to break it to say, like, I wanted to do this video, but I said, look, this is slow sports news. This is old, right? So I just proven the point here. Yeah, no, for me, I don't want any credit. I just want this to end. I just want these Glazes. We're not saying definitely. What the problem is with today's people, like, how should I articulate? Whatever I'm saying here, it's not 100%. I don't want to say 100%. I don't want to say definitely. I'm presenting you my thoughts, what I understand. If this is going to happen, I'm not part of that. You know what I mean? I'm not part of the negotiation. I'm not part of being a part of Rain Group and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is, Beckham, if you go back there, just go back in time before Qatar, before even this Qatar was announced. There was even speculations, even coming out from my good friend as well. Phil Brown was saying, Beckham, don't be surprised, Beckham. Phil Brown mentioned it as well. He was.
Yeah, he did.
But the thing is that people nowadays have a very short memory span, like Doris the Goldfish in Finding Nemo, right?
Yeah.
And this is media is doing that deliberately by overflowing you with information so you forget. But everything is there. You cannot rewrite history.
Yeah, Mick, I'm just gonna ask one question to both of you. With Beckham, Keane, and Rio as coming in as ambassadors, or what do you want to call them? What role will they actually have? Will they just be like poster boys for us fans to stand behind, or will they have any actual?
That's
Like,
what you don't know. That's why I don't know.
what can we
They
expect?
will have some form of cultural ambassador role, because to bring back the old DNA again, because
Yeah.
that's been lost. That's what my understanding. But what roles they will have within the organization, I have no idea. Right, as what Tom was saying, one wants to be part of the board, wants to have a directorship, makes more sense. I understand. I don't see Keane as being a company man. Keane would be more of an ambassador.
Yeah, but
Rio can fit there.
what can they bring to the table? To be honest, what kind
Well,
of like
one needs to be a
education
bridge.
do they have? No,
Okay.
none of them have any other than
Okay,
football.
hypothetically
That's
speaking,
as
this
far
is
as I know.
okay. Hypothetically speaking, this is me speaking though. This is the way I'm thinking. They worked in organizational change management with people and culture on global scale. One thing that this club has been missing is communication, right? So one of them will probably be a bridge and ambassador between the fans and the club, right? As a spokesperson, the briefing, what's going on, pure communication. The manifesto has been, one of the Sheikh Yassim's manifestos as well, to have clear-cut communication, something that the Glazers don't do, because their families' tradition is also don't speak to anyone, don't speak to the press. But the clear communication needs to be somebody with an ambassador that understands the fans, that the fans adore and love, and they understands the club. So there I see, Rio Ferdinand will fit in perfectly fine,
Yeah.
He's well spoken. He knows the fans. He connects well with the fans. He runs his own fan channel as well, 5 for 5. Makes perfect sense to have Rio as a, what do you call it? Would you say fan ambassador or?
Yeah, be a fan ambassador. I can see Beckham on the board for sure.
Beckham on the board, 100%, because he's more business guy. Definitely.
Yeah, he is, and also Sheikh Jassim Qatari, or actually whoever took over, would know they would need that link, that Beckham link, because all it'll do will refocus everything on Manchester United again because of who Beckham is. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Where do I
Keane,
see Roy Keane? I see him as a dressing room ambassador.
Oh, fucking hell,
Oh yeah,
imagine.
dressing room ambassador. He was standing there like in a halftime, like, oi, like
in
Roy
the corner,
Kent.
in the corner.
You get in there, Simbin.
Yeah.
Some discipline ambassador, maybe. I don't know. What's
When
Roydon
I-
Frost saying here?
I'm just gonna be honest, Mick. When I hear names like this, I don't know. It feels like I see even Bosic had a good comment here, but I'm not sure how relevant it is. But he says that Beckham as face if Qatari is sport washing at its finest.
But what is sports
gotta see it from
washing?
both sides, because I'm not going to say
I don't
hallelujah.
understand. I've been covering this. Jesus Christ! What about greenwashing? What
Let
about
me finish,
greenwashing?
Mick, when I'm trying to say
Yeah, sorry,
an answer.
yeah, but just don't get this sports washing thing.
Yeah, but we got to address this because people, fans, and a lot of people in the chat and around have this feeling. So we got to address it and talk about it.
Yeah.
we
Let
can't
me
just
address
debunk
this later.
it as a no.
I just had a video to display it's not sports washing, going over the company structure. So go back in time and just understand. Wash it again, please. It's not sports washing.
I actually think with this type of financial outlay that they will be whiter than white, and you've got to be whiter than white. Look, we all know that there's some things going on anomaly-wise up in Newcastle. We know all that. There's huge anomalies in PSG and at Manchester City. They just can't afford to do that. Not with Manchester United. And to be fair, we generate the money. The club generates the income. We don't need their money. We just need their structure. And so, for me, getting rid of the parasites that we've got, which is our biggest problem, everything else would fall into place. We need their investment, their immediate investments.
Yeah.
And that is the stadium, infrastructure, training ground.
Yeah.
But we don't need their money. That's the difference between us and every other club that's been bought by, Qatar or Saudi Arabia or
Yeah. Now, can I address this sports washing in its finest? Like, I think we've been gone over this with human rights and sports washing, everything that's been smeared by British media, like, Evo, and I understand that. But if you go back and have a look, I just went over the whole company structure and what it is. Like, it's not state back, it's a holding group, it's a parent company, and it's just basically investing in its children, pretty much. It's not sports washing. But then, yeah, you can argue to the point, well, Qatar is a state, la la la, they will do anything. Same with Saudi Arabia. Like, if you look at the Middle East right now, they are expanding the portfolio because oil and gas is not just, what they are right now. They want to invest in sports. Like, look at Saudi Arabia. They're propping up their own professional league. You saw what's going on in the summer. QIA, Qatar Investment Authorities, they just won the bid for F1, like, and they're going to host that Qatari, F1 race in Qatar as well. So in a couple of weeks.
Right, it happened at the weekend, but they've got it wrong.
Yeah, it happened on the weekend. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they got it wrong in terms of it was too hot for the drivers. The drivers are passing.
Yeah, it's hot right now. Yes.
Well, what you say is right, because there'll be there's an F1 in Jeddah.
In Jeddah as well. Yeah. So what I'm saying now, like, the reason why they're going for sports is because they want to broaden the portfolio. Yeah. Same with UAE, like, oil is going to run out soon, gas going to run out soon. Like, sports is the new thing. Sports is for the escapism. There's big TV rights money. You have, like, huge. You have, like, beIN Sports and stuff like that, and they've been offering the Glazers a way out to say, look, we will build your stadium. You can host the NBA games and stuff like that. Like, did I say NBA? NFL games and stuff like that. Buccaneers. Yeah. You can have a slice of that TV rights, and they will give you billions, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I knew this all along, and when I saw this restructuring bit of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, it means, like, it sounds a little bit of a defeated man, doing this concession with the hope of fear that maybe Joel and Avram will sort of take the bait, because he identified the weakest link, and there's those two. But people forget that you have a family of 6 that is equal slice of the pie, right? So in order for them, he has to buy them out, 4 siblings, and even you got to question, what is that 1.5 billion going to? It's not going to cover enough. No, is that going directly into to Joel and Avram to pay off the 4 siblings? Even that's not going to be enough. For me, that's a lot of props and smoke screens. For me, it's always been all roads lead to Qatar. I stand firm by that, by saying so. May I be slated for it, but somebody's been covering this for a very long time. I'm not going to say 100%. Never. It's never 100%. Like, you don't make the weather. You just report on the weather. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anything can happen. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm aware what the Qataris is doing, but I'm also in a situation where I don't talk more about it, more to maybe you, Jarvis, or
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I've been quiet because I think that just sit and wait. That's all we can do right now, because it's not within. I mean, I think the sales takeover is done. It's over. That's it. There's no more. There's no more minority investments. There's no more. That's it. Right? And it comes down to one thing only: money.
Yeah, sure.
And the rest is more fear. But I always say, don't ever let your fear and emotions clog your judgment. Like, stay clear, be cool and composed, because one thing we know about Glazers is all about money. That's it. If you all of a sudden come in and clear the debt, which some people say, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. If you clear the debt, you clear the credit history. And plus, you give each of everyone 1 billion each in the pocket, tax-free, because they're registering in Cayman Island.
Yeah,
each and everyone will walk away as a winner.
$1 billion, what's that? 800 million, something like that. 800 million.
This is the sad point. This is a sad point for Manchester United fans.
It is.
Can I just finish this speech? Yeah. This is the sad part, because Malcolm Glazers had the right intention. He wanted to make good for Buccaneers. He wanted to do good for, he invested because he believed in it. But since he passed away, the 6 siblings that was fed with the golden spoon, because Malcolm worked his ass off when, he built his empire from scratch.
He did.
Typical golden spoon.
Yeah, he did.
They have been clueless. They've just been using this as an ATM, every quarter ATM. But since that stopped in January, they have not been able to take any money. They had not been involved in the, giving any money in the transfer window because that was Bank of America overdraft anyway.
Mm.
And they've been trying to play you to say that we have an upper hand, which they don't. They have a very pressured hand with the current own financial situations. For the financial reports that haven't come out as of yet.
No.
They have a suspension to the 31st of October. And let me tell you why. Normally, that financial report comes out 22nd, 20th as a clockwork. Year in, year out.
Yeah.
This time around, they're hiding it on purpose.
It's
Because
lazy.
here you have to declare purchase of the club or the sales process is still ongoing.
That's the
They
one.
don't want to do either.
Yeah,
They don't want to
that's
do
the one.
either. Meaning that something is brewing in the background, meaning that you connect the dots to say something's going to happen. Because it doesn't make sense that the Glazers makes the budget for the next year, financial budget, if you come in as a new owner to run on that budget. I mean, I'm just speaking from a business sense. Jarvis, you know what I'm talking about, right? You run your own business.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, it's just me now just, using you as a, what do you call it? Ball plunk, throwing balls.
Yeah, as an
Plank.
example.
Whether we like it or not, though, Malcolm Glazer was one astute businessman. Businessman.
But he was involved with the Buccaneers. He loved them. They loved them at the Buccaneers.
They did, yeah. And, those kids all have benefited from it because they own the golden goose in sports. Manchester United, the golden egg in sports. It's They can do what they like with it. And,
but the sad part is they walk away as winners because they haven't done nothing. Not even a lick of paint or Old Trafford. The old lady's been bleeding, been rotting since 18 years since they bought it over, right? We're falling so behind in that stadium. It's not funny. If you want to have a good experience, you go to Hotspur Stadium, right? You have everything there, right? Latest and greatest. That's just an example, right?
Stadium's awful. It's
Edward Reed, what Edward Reed is saying here in the comments says, if Glazers can take dividends out, then what's the point of them staying? 100%. There's no point. We are just taking the main thing that meant something for them to take out money. That was blocked in December, January on purpose, right? On purpose.
Well, to be fair, the Glazers, they could turn it around if they put their own money in, but they don't want to invest in the club, and that's their biggest problem. And the club is basically bankrupt. We don't have any money. We don't have any liquidity. We only have assets in the stadium and the players and the brand, but they won't put any money in. And okay.
I'm going to ask you.
They can sit on it for 10 more years and we can be relegated and it will be worth nothing. So now is the right time for them to sell.
Now, I mean, yes, there's so many moving components in this. So, I just lose track of all the balls that's up in the air. Sometimes I just drop them all and just forget about it. I'm not going to talk about it. But today is a good point because today marks the day we don't have any football. We can talk about moving forward, which is part of this show as well, to say that, okay, Stu Woolley, you understand business in a certain ways. If you would invest in a company, you would invest to make it successful, right?
Yeah. So
any person would do that, right?
Yeah. So I should tell you, I'm a commercial director as well as a journalist. So I understand business.
You know what commercial director is? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I understand your business, and I hate the Glaze and everything they stand for, but the way that they've maneuvered themselves into a multi-billion-dollar sale has been, from a business point of view, has been amazing. They are as astute as it gets. But I said right from the day, as soon as it was announced 11 months ago, it would take 12 to 18 months for this sale to go through because of the numbers that you're dealing with. And I also 100%. said, as soon as Chelsea was sold for 2.5 billion, we know
but there was a fire sale. There was a governmental
and that was a fire sale. I knew then that the Glazers would start looking at it because they would. Chelsea have changed the course of football twice. First when Roman Abramovich came in and he started the transfer fees, and the second part was the sale, the fire sale. And this is where the Glazers are now. The Glazers know the value of the club. They know it's only worth 3.5 billion, and they know 5 billion is a good deal, $6 billion is a good deal. They know all of this, but they're pushing and pushing and pushing like any seller would do until you meet my number. That's how it goes. And where you are now, and I think I actually agree with you, Mick. I think the sale's done. It's the negotiations of the nitty gritty, the little parts of the puzzle that who gets.
It's more of the, if you've been involved as a commercial director, you know that any acquisition will take up to 18 months. What you said, right? You mentioned a valid point regarding Chelsea, but that was a sanction against Abramovich. That was a fire sale. Otherwise, Chelsea will go in administration, right? This sales process was always designed as a shadow bidding by Rainy Group just to lure in the highest bidders. That's why you saw them mingling in the World Cup with the Royals and the Sheikhs and Saudis, because they wanted to get as much buck as they want. They were broke. That's why they went out for last year. They run out of options. Bank of America say no more drafts. You've been using credit cards for everything. You've been bad business owners. That is the fact, guys. That is the facts. Facts are there. Spreadsheets are there. Right? We've been going on the transfer market, borrowing on credit card, buying, and we need to pay it back. We can't afford it. So for them to stay on and for them to have 25% doesn't make any sense. It's just smoke screens for me, right?
No, it is smoke screen. And don't forget, Mick, we've got to pay, the Rain Group. The Rain Group.
Exactly. Look at what Royden is saying here. Hang on a second. 18 months for a Newcastle to be sold.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, the Rain Group have got to be paid. The minor 100%. Shareholders can sue. The minor shareholders can take the Glazers to court for non-sale.
The endless of billable hours that's gone out by solicitors. The endless of traveling. The endless of course they work on commission on a retainer Rain Group and they want to get paid.
Of course.
How much they're going to get paid, I don't know. But 100%, and I'm looking at what Scotty at the wheel is saying here, and this is exactly what I covered like months and months ago. Why Ineos are interested, not only for sporting reason, but it's this as well. Because I covered this months ago in my podcast to say underneath Greater Manchester area, they own the fracking rights, right? I can't remember what it's called, but 948 something like that. It's called something. I don't have it in my mind right now, but they own the fracking rights, right? They did in Hume. They did fracking in Hume a couple of years ago, but they own the fracking rights. You can just look it up. They own the fracking rights. So if you own the land asset, you own the fracking rights underneath. So it makes sense if you knock down and move the stadiums, you can frack. The end of the day, Ineos is a petrochemical company.
That's right.
That's the thing. That's it. Yeah, fracking.
It will take time. I just googled when the first rumors for the Newcastle takeover was around, and it was, as I can see, it was April 2020, and the takeover was what was it? It was October 2021. So it was basically 18 months.
But another thing, there's a long months, but you got to look at where the wallet of the owners is hurting at the moment. If it's hurting, they are desperate to get out of it. You got to also look at, from a commercial director perspective, that all the sponsorship deals they've been negotiating for the future owner as well, part of the deal as well, not for the Glazers. Not for the Glazers. They added a sponsorship deal, which is kicking in. It's an extension, 2025, right? The Qualcomm kicks in next season for 1 year at what the time. Who knows if, Qatar or 92 Holding Foundation wants Qualcomm. They might have something else like Fly Qatar or whatever, So for me, all roads goes to Doha. For me, I'm saying this deal was on in principle verbally agreed with the Glazers and Rain Group, because Rain Group is there to sort of advise to say, close this deal, right? We want to get paid.
Well, I'll tell you what, they want to pay.
It doesn't take you 10 months to quarrel and argue between the siblings to come to an agreement, how to split that cake. Everyone's going to get their birthday cake eventually, right?
Well, that's it. But I mean, if it was me, I'd stick it into escrow. And I'd say there.
Oh no, I'm just.
There it is. That's yours.
I don't know if it was you. I want to hear from the VR room as well, from the chat room as well. You know, I'm personally fed up. You know, the way we were playing football, but this is part of the discussion. Like, you know, moving forward ahead right now, Jarvis and Stu and Tom. Where did you go, Tom, journalist? Is definitely getting a new structure. Like, you've seen what happened to Newcastle, and the same thing will happen to Manchester United. Right? It's going to be organically. It's not going to be like, you know, a quick fix, because you fans are just used to quick fixes. You know, oh, if we only get rid of Rashford, we'll be good. If we only sack this manager, we will be better. And 18 months down the track, we're sitting here having the same conversation because we sacked the manager and we fell for the trap again. But with this time around, the cycle will be broken. The curse will be broken with new ownership, right? Now, it's going to be a learning curve for them as well, because they're going to appoint the right people. But that's why they kind of, according to my opinion, surrounding themselves with club ambassadors like, you know, Keane, Ferdinand, people that understand the club, you know, to guide them to the right direction. Will also the links to the new sporting director and Paul Mitchell and stuff like that. Just best in class. And rest assured that CEO will be gone. What's his name? Richard Clarnard.
Yeah.
Clarnard. And the fake sporting director as well, which is just there as a prop, just to sell, like, you know, we have a sporting director. They didn't want to have a sporting director in the first place. They just put somebody in there. If you guys remember.
One they can't control.
One they can't
control. We need a triangle with the Ragnick and Mitchell.
Glazer's model is to sabotage. Guys, think about it. Stop. Think about it. Glazer's model is about riot. It's all about sabotage, right? It's just to sell you this prop and smokescreen. The next year we will sabotage. And what better way is to put a fake sporting director that is a yes man above the manager, that the manager reports that they will sabotage him. You come to this sporting director, say, this is my wish list of the players I want. He totally gives him wrong players to sabotage. Oh, what's this? Am I speaking sense
because
here?
My eyes are so tired. I
think does this make any sense? Does this make any sense, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen in the VR room? Just look at that. It's there, black and white. You know, every manager's been there under the sort of sporting manager has been destroyed. Before it wasn't a sporting manager, there was Matt Judge, or there was direct reports into the clown himself.
Yeah, Judge.
Right? They made the signings himself as well. So it's clearly like to have full control of the club, of the football operation and everything, just to sabotage, to make this Glazeonomics working. But that's got to go, 100%. I'm calling this person out because he's useless. I've spoken to him before in the market. So he's a nice guy though, but he's clueless. Yes. Anyway, it's been a long stream, gents, ladies and gentlemen. I know. Let's hope and pray soon we will have a better day with new ownership moving forward. What we round up, what we talked about is like, you know, how can Ten Hag turn around? What needs to be done? We came to a conclusion that, you know, certain players are not privileged always because they have a name on the paper. They have to work themselves in. You know, what should we do with Rashford? Should Rashford come into the squad? I think that Ten Hag has sort of showed, you know, on the weekend game that it was never the case, and people that was the bench warmer was the ones to make the difference. So hopefully, like, he will have a long break, but he needs this break for himself to restructure, because otherwise we're playing like 2 games a week, like Champions League. So now he's perfect time for Ten Hag to have a little bit break, to strategize with Paul Mitchell, not Paul Mitchell, Mitchell van der Gaag, and McLaren as well, and his team, and his, you know, and those that are not going for international breaks, they will have a, you know, more of a training session and implement like more patterns of play and more style. So hopefully the way we will turn around, Jarvis, is what? Believe, confidence.
Yeah, we gotta believe.
We have confidence now. Yeah. And do we believe?
I will be extremely disappointed if this takeover doesn't take place and the Glazer decide not to sell. I think the club will, the fan base will be furious, and
but
it will
one
be
thing
riot.
I can say for sure, they will sell because they don't have anywhere to run.
Yeah.
I believe that.
They have nowhere to go. You know, we've gone through this sales takeover process. You have numerous of interested parties that signed the NDA. They had access to the data room, the financial reports, and walked away. We're talking about, like, you know, who we're talking about, Liberty Media and all them stuff, like, you know, investors, hedge funds. They all walked away. That's the thing. So they're back at where. I mean, I think they're disappointed. I think that they thought they would, like, you know, have a 10 billion evaluation, something like that. But in the current financial situation where the world is looking like, you know, they're not going to get much, right? We're talking about credit crisis. We're talking about recessions. We're talking about this. So if they think they can hold on for another 2 years, you know, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah. Gents, I've got to disappear. I'm afraid.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Listen, it was we're not playing football, but thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, you know, Tom, journalist, for coming in. Thank you for the moderator. Thank you for Mark, that's been moderating the chat here in the background. Thank you, Bella, as well, for being such an amazing assistant and host of Mufc Realist TV. Thank you, everyone that's supporting this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we are taking a little bit of the foot off the gas of the pedal because we're not playing football. We have normal lives to get back to, and we shall see you into the next one. Not sure when. Normally we go live on Wednesdays. Tomorrow I cannot make it because I have to prepare my own. I have a lot of things to do in my personal life as well. And what should we say? Peace, love, and banana, right?
And Glazers out.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is green and gold until we're sold, but, you know, we got to take it away with Bella. Okay, Bella opens the show, Bella exits the show. Guys, Glazers out, green and gold till we announce and sold. Take it easy. Bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. If you want to take it to the next level, you can always show your appreciation to sponsor our channel by clicking below the video title, where you will see the heart icon with the text saying, thanks. Or you could buy me a cheeky little coffee by scanning this barcode, or visit this link to buy me a virtual coffee. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. Remember, glory, glory, Man United, Glazers out. It is green and gold until we are announced and sold. That was all from me. I wish you a good day and a great match experience, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.